Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, and that's mainly live music and metal music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, and I'm joined by my other host,
Karen.
And today is a little different of an episode. Today we're going to do our year in review episode. The intent with this one is just for us to take a look back at 2022, at the things we did, the music that came out, and just sort of relive and just revisit the things that we enjoyed the most of this year. There's a few categories at the end that are sort of just overall, not necessarily within this year. One of which being like top shows of all time. And that's just kind of fun. This is our first time doing it, so it's kind of fun just to bring that in. Look at all of our top shows of all time, as well as just it's interesting to see if anything from this year, kind of snuck into that list. So that's why those are there.
And also, year after year, we can see if our top things kind of change as our shows change, or the more shows we see and more experiences we have.
Very true, very true. So we've kind of separated this out. We have the same topics, Karen and I do. We'll go through each one, list off sort of what we have on our own sheets. And this is new. She doesn't know what I've put. I don't know what she's put on her list. Although we can probably make speculations around it. But just sort of it's a reveal for each one of us as well. We're doing top 6 because, 666, devil music. So, yeah, why not go with 6? And this is not a rating. This isn't saying whatever one we say first is number 1 on our list. It's just these are these 6 things we cared the most about. You can make an argument for them to be placed on any order within our lists is the intent there. In most cases, there's probably a couple that you can be like, this is definitely number 1.
Yeah. I think I have a couple of those where I think the only one that is when we talk about our Spotify, because Spotify tells us like what we've listened to the most. So I think those are in order. But otherwise, yeah, everything else is just what we liked throughout the year.
So let's go over the categories real quick, what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
First one is going to be top new songs of the year. Or we talked a little bit about this on the side, and this could possibly even just be top new songs to you. Basically new stuff you discovered within the year. Same thing with albums. Top new albums is the next category we have after that. Then we're going to jump into our Spotify review. And as you said, Spotify gives you the year in recap of what you've listened to in terms of artists and songs. So we're going to list those out. There's 5 there, not 6. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Spotify, for messing that up.
Then we're going to jump into our top shows.
Top shows of 2022, not.
Yes, our favorite shows of 2022. Yeah. And then we're going to go into our playlist review. We'll talk a little bit about what that is, and maybe we'll move that up to the Spotify section. But I kind of liked it after that just to talk about, get over, our top songs, top albums, and then top shows of the year, and see if that influenced, that definitely influenced our playlist. So I think that's why I put it after the top shows. We'll explain that more. We've mentioned it a couple times in past podcasts. I don't know if we've gone in depth about what that is. Or what we've intended to do with that playlist, but...
No, we don't even know what we're doing with that playlist.
So, we'll talk about that then. The next category we have is top new bands. And similar things to music, it's not necessarily new bands of the year, but it's new bands we discovered that year that we care about the most. They're the ones that we like the most. The next category we have is the things we missed out on. Either due to scheduling conflicts, due to resources, due to whatever reasons we weren't able to do X or experience X, whatever that is. That's where we'll put in, this sort of category here. Following that, this is where we start getting into like our all-time list. Following that, we have our all-time favorite venues or locations to see shows. We talk a lot about venues in our past podcasts. Venues to us are very important when we go see a show. So we want to talk about what our favorite ones have been. After that, we have our all-time worst shows that we've been to. And be a brief discussion around those probably. Then, of course, we have our all-time best shows that we've seen.
Maybe we should talk about those first. No, we can leave it with worst first.
Let's leave it, yeah.
Maybe. That way we end on a happy note.
Right. but we're not actually done yet. We have
Yeah. I know.
we have a couple more here, and one of them is what we don't know about for next year, but want. So, is there new music coming out that hasn't been announced yet that we want to see? New tours coming out that we want to see? New whatever it is. There's something that like I really want this. I want to see this. Hopefully, it comes next year. But then sort of the opposite of that is what we know about for next year that we're excited for. This is our first year of doing this. How do you want to do this, Karen? Do you want to alternate categories, or just is there certain categories you want to talk about first?
Well, I mean, we could just go down the list.
Okay. Yeah.
I do think if we go to our Spotify reviews first to get those out of the way, and then we can talk about the concerts. And just because if I don't talk about what Spotify pulled out for me, then it's pretty obvious from like what my top songs and top albums will be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I wanted to do that. I wanted to do.
Okay, let's just go down the list then.
Yeah,
let's just go down the list.
My thought there was, have you list off what you think your top songs are, your top albums are, and then see what Spotify actually said your top stuff was.
Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
So I'll start, I guess, with my top songs of the year. Put Your Back Into the Ore by Amon Amarth. Zeit by Rammstein. Yin by Slipknot.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
The Dying Song, Time to Sing by Slipknot. The Dirt I'm Buried In by Avatar, which just came out a little bit ago.
Like a couple days ago.
And then Gatter by Bloodywood are my top songs of the year.
Okay.
What did you have? Was there any differences from yours?
So there's one similarity, which is The Dirt I'm Buried In.
Okay.
By Avatar, which just came out, and I don't even know how many times I've listened to it, but it's just fun. I love it. I can't wait to, I hope that they tour next year where we can go, but I can't wait to see it live because it's going to be amazing. But my top song, now the first two songs on my list are actually from 2021, but these are new songs that are to me. I bet you can guess what they are.
Nope, go ahead. I'm assuming it's Wage War of some sort.
Yes. Manic from Wage War and Low from Wage War. And then Doomwoods by Whitechapel. I just love that song. The next one I have on my list, I honestly thought was from last year or from 2021 as well. But I looked it up and it actually came out in 2019. But I still have it on my list because I think I started listening to it this year. And it's Mariana Cross by Ghost. So I remember hearing it for the first time on Spotify Shuffle this year. And I just fell in love right away. I mean, that was probably maybe it was last year. Maybe I shouldn't have added that on here. But I listened to it a lot this year. And then my next one is, this is actually a song that came out this year, but it's Omens. And after you go through your list, I can't believe I didn't put Zeit. I can't believe I didn't put a Slipknot song. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
For me, this is weird because outside of Gatter, and I might be getting that wrong.
I think it's Gatter, yeah.
Outside of Gatter and Put Your Back Into the Ore, like I heard those two songs for the first time and like I instantly loved those songs. Yin too with Slipknot, I did like that song a lot when it first came out. But Zeit, The Dying Song, and The Dirt I'm Buried In, all of those my first listen, I was like, meh.
Oh really?
I'm not the biggest fan.
You think it was Zeit?
I liked Zeit a lot. I just thought it was very weird that was the single. Like the first single off the album was something so slow.
So slow. I got it. Like how they released it.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like it's not what you lead on for like a rock metal album, right?
But is it common for bands to release the title track of the album if they have one?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I know it is common, but
I don't
think
really
it's like,
follow that.
Yeah,
but...
I don't think it's like the most common thing.
Okay.
I guess one example is like Iowa. Iowa's not a single off the Iowa album.
Yeah,
for Slipknot.
I mean, I'm sure there's a million albums. Right. Yeah. But I didn't know what the common
But like
thing is.
even with Yin a little bit and The Dying Song, those were just they they were they were very different from your normal or anticipated Slipknot song.
Yeah.
So the very first listen, it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just like, this isn't what I expected. But then it slowly grew on me. Same with The Dirt I'm Buried In. The first time I listened to it, I was like, this is fun. I enjoy this. But it did take me a minute to like just, all right, I'm getting behind. And the more I listened to it, the more I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the more I enjoyed it.
So you really liked Avatar Countries, so I figured you'd really like The Dirt I'm Buried In because it kind of goes with the same like music theme of like some melodic singing and everything.
Yeah, very like old school rocky, bluesy kind of stuff to it. Definitely 100%. And it wasn't what I was expecting, I guess. And I enjoyed it a lot. So
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
those
good.
are my songs.
I should have worked on mine a little bit better, but I think I was just going with what I had listened to like that week when I put this together or something. I don't know. So albums. Oh, do you want to like go back and forth? Like
no, yeah,
I'll
go
start?
ahead. Take the albums.
Okay, sure. So top. So I'm not really. I want to kind of specify like I'm not really an albums person. I don't know albums very well, and I don't really care what album a song is on. But I'm trying to get more into it. Just it's not something that I really care about. So the albums that I have are Manic, which, like I said, came out in 2021, but I just found them this year. Divisive by Disturbed. Great album. Very Disturbed music, but I don't know. Anything Disturbed I kind of have to listen to. So Imperia by Ghost, which won, I think, the top rock album of the year or something like that. Do you know?
I don't follow that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I know they were nominated. I think for
They
a
won.
Grammy.
Yeah.
In whatever category it was. Grammys are kind of shit anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't really follow and don't care. I mean, congratulations, good for them. It's an achievement.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
yeah.
but personally, like all the Academy Awards are just, especially when it comes to like metal music, they always sort of like shun metal music, and
Yeah.
like it's great that they won. It's awesome, but at the same time, it's like I don't care about the Grammys. So
Yeah. No, I don't care either. I just was pointing it out.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, good for them. That's awesome for them.
Yeah. Then I have Zeit by Rammstein. The next one just was released to digital, which is not out until March of 2023. But The Strip Sessions by Wage War. And then I really enjoy Lamb of God's Omens as well. I know you might not have had the same thoughts on the whole album, but I really enjoy it. So, anything similar?
So yeah, I actually had three that were similar to
okay.
yours.
Okay.
Zeit,
Okay.
Imperia, and Omens. were all
Oh,
on my
you do
list.
have Omens on there.
I like Omens. I do.
Okay.
I liked their last self-titled better.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But Omens is still a really good album. I really enjoy that album. It's not. Once again, it's very similar to like the Slipknot type thing where like those songs, that album came out and I listened to it and it's like, this is fine. But it did take some time to grow on me and then get really into it.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy that album quite a bit. The three that I have that you don't: Arch Enemy, Decisive, or Deceivers.
Deceivers. Yeah.
Arch Enemy, Deceivers. I really enjoyed that album a lot. That came out earlier this year.
I forgot about that one.
Rack Shack, I think is the name of it, but it's Bloodywood. It's their first album.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Did that come out this year?
It
or-
did,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
We discovered them this year. That came out this year. We went to them on a whim because it was their first U.S. tour.
Yeah.
Super cheap tickets.
Yeah.
And
Great show.
Loved them. They were
Oh
fucking
my
awesome.
gosh. Like I wish they weren't 17 hours away.
And then my last album is Slipknot, The End So Far. I know when it came out, there's a lot of criticism
Yeah.
of this album that this isn't a Slipknot album, and I get that. I do. It doesn't really sound like Slipknot, right? But it is Slipknot, clearly. Like,
mean,
they've just evolved over
yeah.
time. They've changed their sound. To me, like, when I think about it, this is to Slipknot's catalog, or where they were. This is what, to me anyway, this is what Volume 3 was to Iowa. Like Iowa and Volume 3 to me are
Yes.
so
I would
drastically
agree.
different.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But it's just a progression in who they are, where they are musically and whatnot. And I get the criticism. I get the dislike for the album. I can see that. It's something that when I first listened to it, it was like, this is not a Slipknot album. And I enjoyed everything in it, and I loved the album. It's just, it's not what you were expecting. It's not what you wanted to see. But after you let it grow on you, I enjoyed this a lot. I really, really like it. Like I said, Yin, the Dying Song, are two of my top songs this year.
Yeah.
And those songs are fucking awesome. And that album just gets so better. Like, I love that album.
Yeah. Yeah.
The final song, Finale, whatever it is.
Finale. Yeah.
Finale, Finale.
Yeah.
The final song, Finale, is just like, it's suiting. I like that track a lot. So those are my top. You mentioned Disturbed. I thought about putting them on there. I didn't because I'm not a big fan of this new album of theirs.
Oh, okay.
I really like the last album, which I know a lot of people hated.
Yeah, everybody hated Evolution.
But I loved it. I thought that was a great album. I liked the slowness, the ballads on that.
Yeah.
The tour they put along with it, like all of that worked very cohesively. So I'm kind of excited to see what that comes out to.
This comes to. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth on putting Divisive on here or not, just because I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of it, but I do listen to it a lot. Well, I mean, it comes up on my playlist or my Spotify a lot, and I have went to it a few times. So, but also it's Disturbed, and I feel like I have to put something Disturbed.
So that's our top album and our top songs.
And these are R-rated, like us out of our minds.
Yeah, just whatever we are into. Yeah. Let's get into like actual numbers, and by actual numbers, I mean numbers we're not doing, but this is what Spotify gave us.
Yeah.
The two main ones are top artists and top songs.
Yeah.
So
do you happen to remember? I know we can't look it up right now, but do you happen to remember how many minutes you listened to?
I don't remember. I think it was like 55,000, 35,000,
okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. Like I know this is a wide range, but
yeah, mine was like 46,000, which I thought was a lot because I think the year before it was only like 20,000. So you could really tell how much I've listened to more and more music.
Yeah, but also like when we're driving in the car, we're listening to Spotify on your account also.
That's true.
So that does add time. I don't know how much time that ended up adding. We were driving quite a bit though this year.
Yeah, we drove to obviously we drove to concerts, but
so I mean, I do think your intake on music you listen to did go up, but I do also think that the travel time that we had together in the car was also a good chunk.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe it didn't really double. Maybe it was like a third more or something.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell, really.
It is, yeah.
But top artists. This is in order because they gave it to you in an order. Yeah. My top artist for like the third or fourth year in a row is Metallica.
Of course.
Then I have, and I was like in the 0.05% of listeners for Metallica.
That's it?
The top 5%. Or 0.5%, or no, the top 1% of listeners. I was in that category.
Oh,
which seems really high when you think about it, right? Like,
yeah.
I listen to more Metallica than 99% of the other listeners. But when you look at like their monthly listeners, that means there are 220,000 other people who listen to it as much or more than I do.
Yeah.
So I guess out of 22 million, sure, but really.
I didn't put all those numbers down, just so you know.
No, that's fine.
Oh,
that's the only one I remember.
Oh, okay.
So I remember running that number and being like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Next for me was Avatar.
Really?
That's my second most listened to band this year. Followed by Slipknot. Then Omnimarth and Ghost were my top five artists. How about you? What'd you have for your top five?
So my top is Wage War. no surprise there. I think I listen to them almost every day. My next one was actually Avatar as well. So our number 2s are the exact same. My third is Lamb of God. My fourth was Ghost. And then the fifth was Disturbed.
Okay.
So 2 were the same. Avatar and Ghost.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by my list. Were you surprised by yours at all?
That Avatar was probably as high as it was, and Ghost was on there, I think, as well. I think I would have expected like Lamb of God to be probably that fifth slot,
Yeah.
not Ghost, but yeah, and
I wonder-
Avatar being as high as they were, like that was, I guess that wasn't as, I mean, yeah, them being as high as they were was a little shocking to me.
Yeah. I wonder if, were you listening to a lot of Ghost earlier this year?
I must have been, yeah.
Yeah. Mine's pretty mixed about what I listen to almost every week if I'm not listening to the playlist or the
Okay.
2022 playlist. All of these I seek out individually to listen to, so I was not surprised at all.
Okay. So then the songs get a little weird for me.
Oh, okay.
Metallica's my top artist. I don't have a single Metallica song in my top 5 songs
Oh, okay.
listened.
Okay. Yeah. I had a similar comment, but we'll get there.
My number 1 song is Memento Mori. I listened to that, I think it said like 49 times.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's what I love that song.
I know.
And I'm surprised it
Well, we
is
listened
low.
to it a lot on mine as well, but
And I think that was my number 1 song last year too.
was it?
So like it may have leaked into this year as well, but I know it's a common song that I put on to this day, like and just listen to. I fucking love that song so much. The next one is what I expected to be number 1 for me, which is Put Your Back Into the Oar.
Yeah.
I love that song also.
Yeah, you listen to that a lot too.
So I expected that to be number 1. Then I have Shield Wall. So the top 2 are number 2 and number 3 are both Amon Amarth, and both songs I love. They're great songs.
Yeah.
Then I get Unsainted. I
Really?
did not expect to have Unsainted on there.
You didn't even like Unsainted.
I like Unsainted. I do like it.
When it first came out, you didn't like it because I remember
Maybe
being at the hotel and you didn't like it.
maybe there was that the song? Or are you thinking of the Chip Red
No, Unsainted.
Unsainted?
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, it was an open air. When did it come out? 2019?
Must have, yeah.
Yeah, so it must have been 2019 because that was the year open air rained the whole time. And so they like canceled the first like 4 hours or something. So we were stuck in the hotel. And I played it over and over. And you were just like, I don't even like this song. Why are we listening to it?
I don't know. I don't see me doing. I mean, maybe I did, but
you did.
I love.
Unless it's just because I played it constantly.
Maybe I love the choir aspect of that song. It reminds me so much of the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want with like the church choir or the not church choir. They're like the school kids singing, right?
Yeah.
And I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So having that and then having such a big drop on that song, I love that song a lot. I'm just surprised I listen to it as much as I do still to this day. That's stuck around.
I see. I listen to that a lot. I'm sorry. It's not on my list, but Unsatan, I like watching Unsatan on YouTube because it's all Des Moines shit in it. So like the Capitol and
I do remember when
Principal Park
when
and
we
everything.
finally realized that. Like we watched it like 3 or 4 times and we're like, oh wait, this is Des Moines.
Yeah. It's like all the Des Moines
It got really
architecture.
cool to see that and realize that. The last song on my top 5 for top songs from Spotify is one I expected. I love this song also. I expected it higher. So I expected Put Your Back Into the Oar to be number 1. Maybe Memento Mori, but that to be lower down. Unsainted, wasn't expecting that. Shield Wall, kind of wasn't expecting that either.
I didn't expect that to be on your list.
But maybe number 2 I thought would be A Statue of the King. But it's actually number 5.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Avatar Country, I love that fucking album. Probably my favorite Avatar album outside of the King's Speech. I'm not a big fan of the King's Speech bit. But the 2-song instrumental thing at the end, I love. The King's Harvest is another one that's good, but I don't like it as much. I get why it's there and where it fits into the whole album, the whole concept of the whole album, right? But The King Welcomes You to Avatar Country. Love that fucking song. Like, talk about like your old school rock feel. Like, that song has that. And
Yeah.
I love that so much. The Statue of the King, love that song. But King After King is now quickly replacing A Statue of the King as one of my favorite on this album. I love that King After King. Like, it's so good. I love this album. I expected Statue of the King or even King After King to be higher up on it.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of Avatar fans hate Avatar Country.
Oh, I can see it. Why? But like,
it's definitely not their general music sound.
No, but
again, a lot of people hate Evolution by Disturbed as well. So I guess you're just the one that kind of sneaks in and enjoys those one-off albums.
Yeah, that weird shit.
Yeah.
So,
which I think it's good to like the albums that don't necessarily sound like all the other albums. Or the songs that don't necessarily sound like all the other songs.
Yeah, and I just like when bands experiment and play around and just have fun. Like, they're just out trying something new. Like, they're growing as people, as musicians. So when they go out there and do shit like this, I embrace it. I love when they do that. Doesn't mean it's always going to be my favorite. I will often gravitate back towards, the heavier or earlier stuff or different, like the stuff that came before it.
Yeah.
Metallica, I think, is a great example of this, right? With Load and Reload. A lot of people hate those two albums. I love those albums. But I would prefer to listen to the first three.
Yeah.
Than I would Black Album forward. Like, anything from the Black Album forward I'll listen to it. I enjoy it. It's really good. But it's not those early things. But
yeah,
all that to say, that's my top 5 songs. Kind of a few surprises in there for me from what I listen to on Spotify.
Yeah. My top songs were not really surprising at all. Except for the fact that 3 of my top 5 bands are featured in the songs as well. So 2 of them are not.
What do you mean by that? I don't
like the 5 songs come from 3 of my top 5 bands.
Oh,
so
that
2
you've
are
already
not,
listed earlier.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I wasn't following.
Do you want me to re-say that?
No, you're fine. I'm good now. I just want clarification.
Okay. So my top song was Manic by Wage War. The second song was Circle the Drain by Wage War. My third top song is Hail the Apocalypse by Avatar. I love that song. And also it's the first song on our playlist. So I was like, oh, did that kind of get snuck up there just because it's the first song on our playlist?
I am curious about how this works. Like, if you just have to hit play and it counts it as one listen, or do you have to listen to a certain number of it?
Oh, that's true. Because sometimes we do hit play, or like it starts with that song.
Especially in the car, when we would drive, we'd typically listen to the playlist we're going to talk about soon. It is the first song, so you just hit play. Then I hit shuffle because for some reason on the mobile app at one point in time, either it still is or isn't anymore. Or maybe I just didn't know how to use the mobile app, but it didn't have like the shuffle button next to the play. So you hit play, then go down and hit shuffle.
Oh, okay.
And then I would just hit skip because like we've already heard this song a lot. Let's go on to the next thing. So I'm wondering if they counted those as listens.
Yeah.
But interesting. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but
yeah. I assumed an Avatar song would be on there, but I didn't really expect Hail the Apocalypse. It's not
the one you listen to the most.
Not really. No. Like I would say I gravitate to like Bloody Angel or maybe I do listen to Hail the Apocalypse a lot because if somebody's pissing me off around me or is like being loud or being annoying, I turn my headphones all the way up as loud as they'll go, and then I play either Avatar or Lamb of God. Because I'm like, it sounds aggressive and I just want people to shut up and I don't want to hear you. So maybe Hail the Apocalypse is on there because of that. The fourth song is Stitch by Wage War. And then my last song is Redneck by Lamb of God. So none of these surprised me at all. I was surprised that Low by Wage War is not on there and Stitch is. Except for, again, like when I search Wage War, Stitch is the first song that comes up. Like if I just listen on their page, because I think it's the most listened song or
so
whatever.
like the top songs.
The top songs, yeah. So I'm wondering if that's why that's up there versus Low, because Low is like the fourth song on that list, so it takes a little bit to get down there, and sometimes my walk to the train isn't even long enough to get that far, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's no Disturbed, no Ghost on my list, which I don't think I've ever had a Spotify. I guess they've only been doing this for 2 years, right? 2020. At least I saw it.
Yeah, I think they did it a few years before.
Oh, okay.
I was working in an office when I got my first.
When they first did it, okay.
I don't know if that's when they first did it or that's when I got my first one. Same with you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
2020 might have been the first year I had my own account because we used to share.
We did,
account.
yeah.
But I mean, I always had Disturbed on there, and this year I didn't. So.
Yeah, same to you. Of like, I mentioned it too, right? Like Ghost. I don't have a single Ghost song in my top songs, but they're my top artists. Lamb of God's a top song, my top song.
Yeah.
But not in my top 5 artists, which is weird. I expected them to be. And other than that, Metallica. Metallica's also, I don't have a song that I listen to, a single Metallica song.
As a top song?
As a top song.
Oh.
Like, they're the top artist because I listen to all the shit.
That's true. But do you just shuffle it?
A lot of times, if I had to pick one, it's probably Battery.
Okay.
And I think last year, Battery was my number 1 song. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see that, right? Where your top artist, especially when I like that when your top artist isn't necessarily in your top songs. It just means you're listening to a bunch of other shit from them.
That's true. Like you're not going to the same song over and over. Yeah.
And I did listen to the Black Album quite a bit this year as well.
Oh yeah, because it's.
So I don't know if they count that as Metallica or not. That'd be really weird if they do.
Oh, I wonder how they do that because it's other artists.
Right.
But produced by Metallica.
Right, and I wish I would have saved these numbers of where they talk about how many different artists you listen to. Because I think mine was quite high this year. It was higher, I think, this year than it was the previous year.
Yeah. I don't know if I saved that one.
I don't have it anymore, but at least at my fingertips.
Yeah, next year we'll have to do that. Maybe write down like almost all of the numbers or whatever they give you. Yeah, that way we can go back and look more.
Yep.
So I think it'll be interesting next year to see, since we know that we're going to do this next year as well, like to kind of see if, knowing we're going to do this, if we either shuffle more or if our music, like if we find a new artist next year that we really enjoy and our list gets changed up, or how similar it might be when we talk next year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know who I am as a person. I am always a shuffler. I don't necessarily like listening to an album straight through unless it just came out and I'm listening to it for the first time.
Okay.
And I'll do that for like 2 or 3 or 4 listens, right? Just to get a vibe for what the songs are, what songs I like. A lot of the songs I typically like we mentioned, are the B-side tracks on an album, right? That those aren't necessarily your singles, but they're the ones I enjoy the most. So once I know what they are, and it takes, like I said, it takes like 3 or 4 listens before it starts to hit home as to what I like.
Yeah.
It takes time to grow on you, and like, all right, fine, I have to get my misconceptions out, or I have to get my preconceptions out of this is what a Slipknot song sounds like. This doesn't sound like what a Slipknot song sounds like. And then that takes 2 listens, and then the 3rd listen, it's just like, this is Slipknot, this is their music. This song is enjoyable. I like this song. Sometimes it is like right out of the gate. It's like Yin. It's like, holy shit, I fucking love it. So it will be interesting to see. I know 1 year my friend group are really big into EDM, and when we did this the very first year, I found out about this, which was either 2018, 2019. I don't know exactly when. I did my first Spotify year in review thing, Wraps, I think they call it. Shared it with my friend group, and they're like, "Oh, there's no EDM. We're going to have to change that for next year." And I kind of intentionally went in listening to a lot of one particular EDM artist, 1788L, and that became one of my top artists of the year that year. But I kind of went in with that notion of I'm going to take an active approach to listen to this.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm wondering, like, next year if we'll have a conscience of, or at least me, have a conscience to, like, shuffle more and not just listen to one.
Just wage war.
Well, that's how I go to work. That's how I get going for the day.
It used to be Lamb of God, though, right? That was like
that's home from work.
Oh, all right. Wage war is like pumping you up for the day. Lamb of God's like, fuck all these people.
Exactly. And I listen to Lamb of God a lot during work for the same reason of then I can't hear people around me. So
yeah, who knows? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see next year. So that's our Spotify top artist and songs. The next category, as we mentioned, is top shows. Why don't you start us off with this one? What were your top shows this year?
So, no particular order, but Bloodywood is on my list because that was just an awesome show. Like Brian said earlier, they came and it was their first tour, right? Or first U.S. tour.
First U.S. tour.
First U.S. tour.
I think altogether, but it may have been marketed as first headlining tour, but I think it was their first U.S. tour also.
Okay. So, we got lucky they came to Chicago, so we were able to snag up some tickets at a very, very small venue. So it was really great. Then I have another small concert that we went to, which is Thrash of the Titans. And this isn't necessarily for just the concert aspect. They put on a great show. They're a tribute band to the Big Four, so Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. But also our friend is a guitarist in the band, so we got a little bit more of the experience. And it's just a memorable day and a memorable experience around the whole concert aspect. Because in the episode when we talked about that, we mentioned that we've not necessarily never thought of the whole setup and tear down aspect, but it's not something that as a concert goer we're privy to or like even really care about. We get there, it's done, we leave, they do whatever they need to do, sort of thing. The next one I have is Rammstein. When we saw them at Soldier Field this year, this was more on my list because we had waited since 2020, and I just remember like the weeks leading up to it, I was just so excited. And then once they started setting up that week, I was even more excited, and I was just very, very excited to see Rammstein again. The next one is Metallica in Las Vegas. At the end of 2021, right before Christmas, we saw Metallica the 40th. And that made me really excited to go see Metallica in Las Vegas. I don't even know what it is about that show. I was just super excited to go see them. And also, at the show, it was just very, like, we had some memorable moments. At least I did. So the first day, we were eating lunch, I think, and I saw an Instagram post that they were selling merch. So, like, I run over there to get merch and talk to some other fans that are going and everything. But then that was the day before the concert, I think. Yeah, because it was noon the day before. And the concert was the next day.
Yes. Yep.
So, then no, that must have been for the 40th, where the guy was going around and like signing the book.
Yeah, we signed the book at the 40th.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting these a little
mixed up. They were really close.
Up.
Like,
yeah.
The 40th was early December, and this was
February.
Late February.
Yeah.
So it's only like 2 months.
It was late December because it was the week of Christmas.
Mid-December. It was
I found this on the web.
Cool. Awesome. First day of winter in 2022. It's December 3rd, 21st. It's not even winter yet. It's fall. Wow. Thanks, Siri.
Cool. I don't know if I'll keep that in or not because that's kind of funny. It was the week of Christmas, so it was like December 22nd or something.
It was 17th and 19th were the shows. So it was the week before Christmas.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
That whole time, that in 2021 was weird because we were so busy from Thanksgiving up until this show, where it was like every week we had something going on. At least I had something going on, which then therefore I wasn't here. You had something to like plan for, do or not do. But yeah, it was the 17th and 19th of December.
Oh, okay. I honestly thought it was the week of Christmas.
I mean, it basically is, right? It's 7 days before the 26th. I guess Christmas is the 25th, not the 26th. I don't know why I have no clue when Christmas is, like, ever.
I don't know why you don't either.
It's always the 25th, but I always think it's like the 26th or 7th.
Yeah. I guess it was. So it was the weekend before. And then we were in Vegas until the 21st. So maybe that's why I felt like we were, because we stayed in Vegas a couple extra days.
We did, yeah.
So maybe that's why I felt like it was the weekend, because I was like, no, I remember like getting home and it was Christmas. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But I thought that the book thing happened there, but that was one of my memorable moments. And
did we see him at that show? I feel like we did.
So I don't know if we saw him, but there was another guy who instead had a flag, and he would go around and like, we have a picture of us with it, but like he would take a picture of us with the flag.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember seeing the guy with the what's the book called?
Johnny Got His Gun.
Johnny's Got His Gun. Yeah, so I didn't see him.
I know we ran into him again. It must have been the night. So we first ran into him in the merch line getting a poster the day before.
Yeah.
And the night of the concert, we were standing in line, and he's going through the GA line.
Yes, you're correct. Yep.
Saying, "Do you want to sign my book?" He asked us to sign the book again. And we're like, "We already did. Sorry."
Yeah.
And he's already asked like 40,000 fucking people to sign it. So
he's not going to remember two random ass people. Yeah. Anyways, I just remember like really enjoying the show in Las Vegas and having the memorable moments there. The next one we just went to a couple nights ago, and that was Wage War, the acoustic. What was it?
Reassembled tour with like a Day to Remember.
Yeah.
They did and Wage War did an acoustic set.
Yes,
too, right?
yes, yeah. Which is also one of my favorite albums. Is the Strip Sessions by Wage War, which is their acoustic album, which is basically it's just their original songs that they did in acoustic for it. I was super excited for this. Ever since I heard it announced, I was really excited, and I had a really, really good time, so I had to put it on the list. How many do I have? Because I have more than 7 or more than 6. So I talked about 5. I'm going to just say 7.
Go ahead, do your 7.
So Apocalyptica's on there as well, for almost the same reason as Wage War. I didn't know what it was going to be going into it. And then once we were there, it exceeded my expectations of hearing just string. How do you say it? Or
just like the 4-piece cello.
Yeah,
aspect.
The cellos. Just the seeing 4 people play cellos and a drum kit, or a drummer on drum kit. I didn't know how. I guess it's 3 cellos and a drum kit, right?
It was, right, because one of them
wasn't there. Yeah.
And you had like a vocalist come out every now and
then. Yeah. I just didn't know how it was gonna be, and I remember talking to you before we went to Apocalyptica and being like, "What do you think they're gonna do? Like, how's this gonna be? Don't just listen to cellos for a couple hours." And like, I didn't know, but then once we were there, like, I think I smiled the whole time. I was so happy to be there. And then I'll just add this as an extra one. When we saw 3 Days Grace and Wage War in Denver, that was just such a surprise, because that day, like, I just randomly Googled like what I wanted or things to do in Denver, and this concert popped up, and we bought tickets and we went. So it's a mixture of not having that long to prepare that I was going to see a concert. Like, I think we bought the tickets at like 1:00 and the concert was at like 7. And also the venue, which is the Mission Ballroom in Denver, Colorado, was just amazing. Like, I think I was happy the whole time we were there, except for the opener. I can't remember even who the opener was, but I did not enjoy them.
Yeah, it was the same style of music, and I mean, it's all sort of like under the metal umbrella, right? But it's the same rap metal, and not like even new metal.
No, not new metal.
Like rap with a dash of metal added.
Yeah.
That Korn had the next night also.
Yeah.
So there's like two artists almost like identical.
I think is this 03 or 0936?
Whatever the fuck the numbers are, there's that and there's somebody else. One
Jared
of them,
Johnston.
Jared Johnson, I think. Yeah, one of them got like was Instagram famous or some shit
Yeah,
like
I think
that,
that's the Jared guy.
and that's how they like blew
Yeah.
up. I think they're both, or one of them's gonna be on Shiprock this
I know
year.
03936. Sorry, I
whatever
don't know
the
what the
numbers
numbers
are.
are. Yeah. Anyways, that's a different story. But I was just so excited to go to this after finding out that Wage War was going to be there. Mission Ballroom was amazing. Next time we're in Denver, I really want to see if there's going to be a show out there because that would be really, really cool. So yeah, I had to have 7. Anything similar to yours?
Well, before we get into my list,
Oh, sure. Comments?
Apocalyptica. I was super excited to see them. I know we tried to, I was sitting at work one day just flipping through like Facebook or some shit, and found Apocalyptica's doing a Metallica cover tour, and I knew they had done like Nothing Else Matters as just the cellos, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And loved that song. I mean, that's my favorite Metallica song. It's like the song that got me into metal music, right? So it holds a special place in my heart. And then before that, right, the main music I listened to was classical music. So melding those two together was like fucking awesome. I love that. And then seeing that they were going to be in Chicago doing this all Metallica cover show, it's like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking awesome. I got to go see this. So we walked down to the venue the night of the thing, and you're like, do you have to buy tickets? I was like, yeah, we'll buy tickets at the door. Nobody ever sells out Chicago. And we walk up there and like, yeah, we sold out months ago. We don't have tickets. So we ended up walking away and doing something
we went and saw a
else.
movie or something.
So that was frustrating, and that sort of got me into like, I need to buy tickets like right away. So we missed that. I knew I would like Apocalyptica. I know I do like Apocalyptica. I knew I would enjoy their set because of the cellos, the classical aspect added onto like added onto metal music. Which once again, melding those my past self and my current self together. Like I love that concept. I did not expect you to enjoy it nearly as much as I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if you did enjoy it as much as me, I did not expect you to enjoy it more than me.
Do you think I did?
It's not on my list of top shows this year.
Oh my gosh. No, that was a great show. I mean, was it the only show that we saw at House of Blues this year?
It's the only one at the House of Blues this year, yep.
Yeah, and that's like our favorite venue in Chicago. And I don't know. I loved it.
It was a great show, I'm not going to lie. If I had 10 slots, they might slide into the 10, in one of the 10.
That's true. It was hard. I mean, I had 7. It's hard to go down to just 6 concerts.
Right. But with that said, here are my 6.
Okay.
With asterisks, I guess.
Asterisks, okay.
Sharing along the lines of you. Rammstein this year, like, fucking phenomenal show. Amazing show.
We waited 2 fucking years.
We waited 2 years to see them. It was a blast. The only thing that could have been better is if we were on the floor.
Yeah.
In the Fuhrer zone. I really, really hate how they're doing that, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. Maybe someday. Someday we might be down there.
Maybe I don't know if I could justify that. Like even if we could afford it and whatnot, right? It's more the question of I don't want to support this.
Oh, the whole split floor thing.
This style of selling tickets. I hate that so much.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're on the floor, you're on the fucking floor. If you want to be in the front, fucking fight for the front.
Yeah.
Like,
or get there at 6 a.m.
Or do that, right, and get the goddamn rail. But you can have the rail. That's basically what it is.
I get it.
You can have the rail if you give us $10,000. The rail is yours.
Yeah.
And people will pay that price to do that.
They will. Yep.
But it's frustrating. Like the point of the floor is this is the general public. This is general. Just fucking if you want it, it's yours. You got to fight for it, or you don't have to fight for it, and you get what you get. Like I hate it. I hate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. But whatever. It is. If they're doing it and they enjoy doing it, fucking do it. I hate it. But that was still a great show, regardless.
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal
I wish
show.
we were on the floor too for that show. But at the time when we bought tickets in 2019, we didn't know. I mean, we just bought
Right.
seat tickets, so
Right. And because we wanted to enjoy the show.
we did. Yeah.
And then they, once again, going back to that melding my two worlds together, the classical and the metal, they like fucked everyone over. And your opener is a classical pianist, like two women who can play the fucking piano, and that's all they fucking do. It's like, I don't even remember if they sung, but it's just
No, they didn't sing. I don't think they spoke
two women who
German or English. Well, maybe German.
they're French, so
Yeah.
they spoke a little bit of English.
A little bit of English, yeah.
They speak better English than I speak than I speak French.
Oh yeah,
so-
yeah. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, we barely know English.
Yes. But like that, like you're at a metal show. Guess what you're getting? Classical piano.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah,
Even though it was covers of Rammstein songs, it's still piano. It's like you're force feeding somebody. You're force feeding somebody a different style of music,
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
way to interpret music, interpret this art, and like for some people, they have to be force fed, and good on you for shoving that spoon down our throats. I enjoyed that. So Rammstein, for me, one of my best shows this year. Metallica Vegas.
Oh, it's on there
Also-
too?
It's also one of my top shows.
What were your reasons though?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
It was overall the entire trip was an amazingly fun trip.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a lot of fun with you out there. The show was fucking phenomenal. A few months before, we saw the 40th, which was a really cool, interesting way that they did it. Of night one was Kill 'Em All the way up to Hardwired. Night two was Hardwired all the way down to Kill 'Em All. This up and down catalog approach, I liked. This show seemed like they took the best aspects of that. They played a lot of old shit.
They did, yeah.
So I don't like the show itself was fucking phenomenal. It was awesome. Your little story about the merch line,
Yeah.
I can't necessarily speak to. So I can speak to my point of view from that. So we get in the night Thursday night. The show was Saturday or was it Friday?
Saturday.
Okay, so we get in Thursday night. Pretty late, I think.
Yeah,
like
it was after
11.
After 11, yeah, probably.
Because there were some delays, as always, on the
Well, I think we
flight.
worked, and then we purposely took the late
Well, yeah,
flight.
to minimize vacation.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
even after that, I think there were like a couple delays, which weren't long
Maybe.
delays, but like 30
Yeah.
minutes or something.
Yeah.
Get to our hotel, which was the castle one, Excalibur.
Excalibur, yeah.
And we picked that particular hotel because of the location to the venue.
Yes, yeah. It was pretty close. I mean, very close walking.
The Luxor, I think, might have been closer.
Maybe, but we stayed there
We
already.
had stayed there, right? So we wanted
like
to try
8
something.
years ago or 10 years ago.
Right. So we wanted to try something new.
yeah.
And it's like right across the fucking street.
Yeah.
So that's why we stayed there. So we get in late, check into our room. We got a king bed is what we reserved, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have our bed. Like they had sold or checked in all the kings.
Yeah.
So we got like a double queen
Yeah.
bed. And they're like, you can come down tomorrow and maybe change rooms.
Yeah.
And I was a little pissed off about that because, like, no, we fucking reserved this. This is our goddamn room. What do you mean you don't have it? Oh, we overbooked. What the fuck ever, right? So we kind of go upstairs a little pissed. It's late. It's like after midnight.
Yeah. Has to be after midnight, probably.
Finally lay down in the bed. You just fell asleep. I could not fall asleep.
Yeah.
For some reason, I could
But, like,
not sleep.
For like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or maybe 10 minutes.
Sure, yeah.
It wasn't very long.
It wasn't long.
Yeah.
Because then the fire alarms start going off in the
Yeah.
room. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you just hear somebody running down the hall, banging on every room.
Yeah.
Like, get out, go
Yeah.
down these stairs, go down these stairs. Eventually come to our room, and I wasn't going to go out there and look because, like, I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah, I think we had the conversation of like, well, we're not going out in the hallway because who knows if somebody pulled the fire alarm and they want everybody to go out to the hallway to like do something.
And this is the person, like, trying to corral people in to, like,
Yeah.
so they can shoot them and some shit, right?
Yeah,
We
who
live in
knows?
America,
Yeah.
so, like,
Who fucking knows?
You're probably getting shot.
Yeah.
But no, it was like a security guard.
Yeah.
So it gave it a little more credence to like, okay, we can do this.
Did you look out the door and see a security guard?
I think I waited till they banged on our door and looked through the peephole, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then we run out, and then we stand in the lobby, and it's cold. Not the lobby, out
Outside,
on the outside, and it's cold. And then we see that like the casino part is still letting people in.
Fuck yeah.
So we're like, fuck this coldness. We're gonna go inside.
Yeah.
Turns out there was a fire on our floor. Somebody had fallen asleep or passed out,
Who knows? Yeah, we don't know exactly the scenario, but
smoking a cigarette, and lit their bed on fire.
yep.
And we all had to evacuate for that reason.
Yep.
And then they corralled us into like a convention room and gave us like water.
Yeah.
No snacks or anything.
And we didn't have. Oh, so this is the other thing. We didn't have our wallets.
Or cell phones.
Or no, I think I had my cell phone.
Maybe I had mine. I don't remember.
But we didn't have wallets. We didn't have cash. We didn't have.
It's like, get the fuck out. So
Yeah.
we just grabbed shit and
Yeah.
ran.
Like I got dressed and ran outside. You didn't even grab a sweater or anything.
No.
Yeah.
I put pants on, put my shoes on, and went out
Yeah.
the goddamn door.
Yeah.
Hindsight, maybe I would have grabbed my wallet because then we could like gambled or some shit.
Yeah. Or
Could've bought a
buy
drink.
something. Yeah. Could have done something.
So that was a bit frustrating. I guess
I mean, that was like 4 hours long too. That whole.
it was because we didn't get back up to the room till about 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Finally slept. And the thing is, I had a meeting to go to for work. So it's sort of one of those things like, I'm going to work Friday to, once again, minimize vacation, do a half day type thing. Got up, we got up. My main thing I wanted to do was go to the venue to see if they were doing merch beforehand. Because at the 40th, they were allowing merch the day before. And I just assume Metallica always does that. Get there to the venue, no merch, no nothing. Like, everything's shut down. Nobody standing there anywhere. I'm a little defeated. Whatever. It's 11 o'clock. It's whatever time it is. We need to get some food because we hadn't eaten since, or at least I hadn't eaten since, like, noon the day before.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because I didn't eat dinner at the airport. We didn't eat when we got to the hotel because it was late. So, like, I had a thing of Pringles.
Yeah.
And maybe a pretzel.
I don't think I ate. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you eat, like, lounge food better than I do. So there might have been,
Yeah,
like,
I
a
probably
sandwich.
had, like, cheese or something.
Yeah. So.
Now you just made it sound bougie. The lounge food.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
They have a comfortable chair.
They have comfortable chairs.
And free.
You pay the credit card, you get it. So.
Yeah. Anyways.
So then we found like an Irish pub type thing in this little mall area, in between the casinos or somewhere. Vegas is a giant fucking maze, so somewhere in this maze we found one.
Yeah.
And we're eating lunch, and that's where you saw the Instagram post.
Yes. Yeah. I only ate like a fourth of my sandwich too.
At 1 p.m., we will be selling merch. And you're like, oh my God, they are doing merch like you thought, just not early enough. I couldn't go because I had my meeting I had to go to.
So I left the table.
You left the table. You went and stood in line with merch. I talked to you afterwards. You had a great conversation with like a bunch of Metallica fans just there. Like, it really is sort of a family. The Chitalica people had some people there, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think we got like a Chitalica pick because of that.
Yeah.
It like all of that, and then I went and did my meeting. We've got a new room because we got our king bed.
Yeah, that was another story.
Which they took us to a room that had the fire extinguisher go off, which is all fucked up, and then had us eventually go to a different room.
But then we got a really nice room because I think it was
yeah.
like a suite because I had like a table off to the side and like a chair, and then
The person we
the
talked
bed.
to was like very sympathetic. We were nice to him, like explained the situation, and she's like, "Oh, all right, you've moved like 3 rooms and had a shitty experience last night."
Yeah.
Although I bet we could have like got a lot more shit comped. Like I think they comped us like the gaming fee or something.
The
one
room
night.
fee or whatever it was. It was like $20.
But other people the night of were like bitching or saying like, "They're gonna comp my entire stay now. It's gonna be awesome."
I'm too.
So am I. I'm too nice.
Like,
to, like
I went
ask
down
for
and
that.
asked. I was like, "Hey, is there anything?" Like when we went to change rooms, and I was just like, "Hey, is there anything that could be done?" Because the last night, like we were only in our room for like 3 hours, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll comp your hotel fee," and I think it's like $20. I don't know.
Yeah. So
And I was just like, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing nothing or next to nothing.
Yeah.
But that was just such a shitty experience leading up to the concert. The concert was phenomenal. The rest of our time in Vegas was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Went to a piano bar. I don't know. That whole entire trip and like just even that concert itself the set was amazing. So all of that combined to me is just like,
Yeah.
this is a memorable show I will not forget.
That's good. That's good.
So that's my second that also matched yours. I did not expect that to take as long as it did. The next one I have an asterisk by.
Okay.
It also matches yours, but it matches two of yours, but I'm counting it as one.
Okay.
I'm calling it bar shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I could have done that, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I would have only had 6.
Which was Bloody Wood and Thrash of the Titans.
Yeah.
We saw both of these shows very close to each other. They were small, intimate bar shows, like less than 1,000. Like,
oh my gosh, less than like 200 people.
yeah, I can't remember what we
150
said
people.
Bloody Wood was.
I think it was 167 on the wall. So we were guessing 150
right
people.
around 150.
Yeah.
And Thrash of the Titans,
I don't know.
right around 100.
Yeah, probably 100. Yeah. I don't
So-
know. I don't know what they could hold there. Maybe 200.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
But
I don't know
like,
how far back they count as
these
usable
tiny
space.
ass bar shows, and the crowds are so much fun in them. The bands are so much fun. They like, it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
that experience with those two shows are like, I want to check out more bar shows. I
Yeah.
want to see more shit like this.
I would agree. Yeah.
So that's why it's up there for me. And once again, asterisk, because it's really two shows, but if you classify it as like bar shows,
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So another one I have that you didn't have was Slipknot in Grand Rapids.
Oh, okay. Is that
Um,
because of the actual concert or the?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
The Grand Rapids, that was our first time in Grand Rapids. We had a blast in that city.
Yeah.
It's now one of our favorite places to go. We've only been there twice. But it's a lot of fun, that area. Their opener was Cypress Hill. They were supposed to have horror also, but they couldn't be there because
Yeah.
of COVID.
So DJ Lord was there, right?
DJ Lord, who was also there for the 40th for Metallica, who's in Cypress Hill, came out and did like a little set also.
Yeah.
Basically the same set he did during the 40th.
Yeah, I think it was exactly the same. Yeah.
But I wasn't the biggest fan of Cypress Hill, their set. I didn't enjoy that. But Slipknot still put on a great Slipknot show, and they're one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was our only time we got to see them last year too.
It was. I was surprised.
So
yeah.
So I was just happy to do that. And
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Amon Amarth, the one that we just
Yeah.
went to.
Yeah.
I love Amon Amarth. Their shows are so much fun. The theatrics they put in, the music itself is just so fucking good. The crowd energy was fucking awesome. The openers they had were great. Like everything about that show.
Yeah. And it was like the best time we had been to Argonne.
Was that the first? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That was the first, like, that they changed the whole security process and everything was
and
just perfect.
Normally going through Aragon, it fucking sucks,
Yeah.
and we hate. That's what used to be one of my least favorite venues.
Yeah.
And it's not in my top list yet, just because of consistency. Like they're 2 for 7, I think,
Yeah, probably.
that I've been to. Like they haven't proven they're consistent enough to be a good venue. But the last 2 shows, this being the first one, they've been good shows.
Yeah.
And good shows in terms of like as a venue. But it was such a great show. I love that show so much.
Yeah.
How
many do you have now? 4?
I have one more left.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
But
January?
Green Bay Ghost.
Oh, no. January in Rosemont. Okay. Explain why.
I liked that it was in Rosemont. It was essentially the same show. I liked the venue at Rosemont better. They had Volbeat open for them. Volbeat was great. We've seen them before one other time. They're they're a perfectly fine band. To me, they are, if Metallica stayed in the Load Reload stage, they would be Volbeat.
Yeah.
So like, to me, that's what Volbeat is that Metallica era Load Reload. And they're good. I like their music a lot.
Yeah.
They had Twin Temple
Twin Temples
as their
yeah.
first opener.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed their music as well.
Yeah.
But to me, that's more of a gimmicky band, a gimmicky
Yeah.
act.
Yeah. I understand.
It's not something I'm going to seek out that often because what we talked about that is like the Beach Boy, Satanic Beach Boys, or something along those lines. Like the 50s soda jerk stand.
Yeah.
Like that's what you'll hear if they were like a satanic sitcom type thing.
Yeah.
Good music. I enjoyed it, but it's one of those things like I listen to it once, I'm done. I'll listen to it if somebody else has it on, but it's not something I'm seeking out. But this Green Bay show had Spirit Box. First time seeing them, they fucking crushed it. I loved it. Carcass was there. They were fucking awesome. And then you had Ghost, which was not the same set list, but a very similar show, similar vibe. The venue wasn't my favorite venue. I still had fun going up to Green Bay. I wish we could have spent more time in Green Bay, but the venue wasn't bad because of the size or anything. It was smaller than I expected. The sound was horrible for everything but Ghost. I felt like Ghost was fine. So if I had to pick one of those two shows, because of the openers, I think I'm going with Ghost in Green Bay.
Just because the openers?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I really liked the Ghost show that we saw in Rosemont in January. I don't know. That one was so much fun. But, I mean, that made me hyped for the one in Green Bay when we went in September. But, man, that show in Green Bay was just so much fun. Or not in Green Bay, in Rosemont.
Yes, in Green Bay was so much fun.
The show in Rosemont was so much fun.
Yeah.
Green Bay, I don't know. My back hurt the whole time.
Well, that's because you fell. You don't know how to walk. So you tripped on cement.
No, the cement came up and hit me in the foot.
Gotcha. So those are our top shows of the year. Each one of us. And this is difficult. We've been to a lot of shows this year. It's really, really hard to look down. Like I was looking back at the shows. I didn't include Dead and Company. I had a lot of fun at that show.
Yeah.
I didn't include Apocalyptica on my list. That was a great show.
We saw Avatar 3 times. I could have added one of those 3.
Lamb of God wasn't on there once, and we saw them a few times, right?
Oh, that's true. Oh my
Disturbed
gosh.
We saw Disturbed this year. They weren't.
We saw them
there.
Twice too,
and that was a good show too. So
it's hard.
It is hard to break it down.
It's hard to beat when you say your favorite, and I don't know. That's just hard. I mean, we could list 30 shows.
I mean, so I don't know. We saw 28 to 30 bands or concerts this year, right? So if you show me the list of concerts we saw 6 months from now and ask me what were your top 6 concerts of 2022, I could very easily pick 6 completely different shows than these.
I would agree. Yeah, because there's so many memorable ones. I think I picked the ones that are most memorable to me. But then as you're saying, Amon Amarth, oh my gosh, I loved that concert. Lamb of God, all 3 performances I loved. I don't know. There's so much that we could have picked, and it's hard. It's hard to pick just 6. Maybe next year we'll do 666.
No, we won't. We're not doing that many shows. But this goes into our playlist that we've talked a little bit about and on past podcasts as well. The playlist we have is pretty simple, really. Whenever we see a live act we like, openers, headliners, everything, right? When we see something we like, we try to find their set list for that show we saw. Setlist FM is a great resource for this.
If people fill it out.
We don't fill it out. It kind of frustrates me when people don't fill it out, but at the same time I could do it, but at the same time you're going to be keeping track of all the songs.
Yeah.
So when we see an act, we put their entire set list, if we liked it, onto the playlist. And then the next time we see a band, we put their set list onto the playlist in the order we saw them. So, for example, for this year, we saw Avatar's our first one, as you said, Hail the Apocalypse. We saw Avatar January 2022.
Oh, are you saying actual date?
Yeah, we saw them January 20th. January 20th in Milwaukee at the Rave. So we had their set list there. They had an opener, Magic Sword. I enjoyed Magic Sword, but it's not something I wanted to add to the playlist at
Yeah.
the time. It's something that I could listen to, like you said, when we're cooking music or cooking dinner or just want some background noise on.
Yeah, I've never listened to it ever since then.
Yeah. So I appreciate Avatar bringing them along and all that. But so Avatar's on there first. After that, then we have Volbeat, which then goes into the Ghost Show we saw. After that, we have Metallica and so on.
No,
Should be Ice Nine Kills.
yeah, well, I didn't want them on there then.
But they are on there now. Yeah. Ice Nine Kills.
You put them on there?
Yeah, you eventually came back and you're like, I do like their music. Put them
Oh,
on.
I didn't know their music was on there.
Yeah, so Ice Nine Kills is on there, and then Metallica. Greta Van Fleet's not on there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
With all that said, that's sort of how we approach this. If we saw a band multiple times, we only add the new songs we hadn't heard onto that, with the exception of Wage War and the Stripped album. Since they had the acoustic version, we put those on there. So, with all that said, our recap. We added 793 songs to this playlist, which was 56 hours and 19 minutes worth of music.
Yeah. And we're missing a Killer's Confession because we didn't know what that playlist was.
Well, we're missing quite a bit.
Oh, yeah,
right?
because almost the whole Denver show.
The Metal and Beer Festival, the Decibel Metal and Beer Festival, we don't have it. We have very little from that, which is disappointing. Because there was so much good music at that. Like your doom metal, your black metal, your death metal, all of that. Like we don't have on there just because they don't have the set list listed, so it's kind of hard to find. And I don't remember shit I heard now, so
I don't know.
But that's not bad. That's quite a bit of
Oh,
music.
yeah, so much music. Yeah.
This I think has been my favorite way to listen to music on Spotify throughout the year, even when it was just Avatar, Ghost, and Metallica. I would listen. Oh, and then Volbeat was on there too.
Yeah.
This was before we added back in Ice Nine Kills, but like just those four bands, I would just put it on shuffle and listen. And I listened to when it was on. You get Metallica like once or twice, but then you get so much other shit. It was so much fun, and it's been fun throughout the year just to like listen to it grow and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the growing. I like how many songs. I like to see how many songs and how many minutes we have or whatever. Or hours. Is it hours or minutes?
Hours. 56 hours and 19 minutes.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I like the aspect of it too. Now, I'm curious, next year, how long do we listen to the 2022 playlist before we start the 2023?
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
Like, I feel like we're going to gravitate back to the 2022 because this year has been so awesome. We've seen so many awesome things. But we'll have to see what next year brings.
Yeah, I think so. I think at the beginning of the year, for sure, it will be this 2022 playlist.
Yeah.
And then maybe February, March, we'll start listening to the 2023. At least
Possibly.
me. Because that's when we'll have like critical mass for me. Like, all right, there's enough music here.
Yeah, that's not just one band that's
Yep.
playing. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I think that will be the thing for me. I don't know if we'll post the playlist. I think we probably should try to figure out a way to do that.
We should. I want to lock it down, like make sure nobody can edit it.
Yeah.
And then I think you can share it
Yep.
either publicly or not. So we should. I just want to make sure nobody can edit it.
Yeah, same. So like, I definitely want to keep this. It's something we would add to it as we saw it. A few days later, we'd go in and add the set list. And there's a few caveats here too, right? There are a few bands, especially with this Denver Decibel show we saw in Denver. If a band did not have a playlist for that show, or set list for that show, but they had one the night before or the night after, I would take that one because more than likely it's very similar to what they played at Denver. So there's a few caveats. It's not 100% the exact songs we heard, potentially. There's also a few songs that aren't added that were new songs that haven't been released yet.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
on
that's true.
upcoming albums.
Yeah.
I kept a list of those. There's like 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I thought about going back in and adding them and then adding them into the right slot. So I have all that information to do it. But we're done seeing music this year. And I don't know if I give a shit enough to do that.
To add 4 songs back in. Yeah.
So it was awesome to hear new songs, but at the same time, I'm not going to wait 6 months for it to be released and then throw it in there.
Yeah.
Or sometimes longer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's cool. It's really nostalgic to go back and look at it. We saw Metallica twice. I think the second time we saw them at Lolla, we added 2 songs. One of which, Whiskey in a Jar, the song I've been wanting to hear live for fucking ever, and finally got to hear that live. So it was fun, and it's just kind of cool to like be scrolling down, like, oh, there's a one-time Avatar song, or there's a one-time X song that they didn't play at the previous show you saw. So I don't know, I enjoy this a lot. It's the first year we did this. I've had fun with it.
Yeah, I like it, and I like having all our concerts kind of chronological in the list.
Yeah, and so when I listened to this, I put it on shuffle and listened to it that way. I think you were telling me a little bit ago that you're not so much. Sometimes you'll do that, but sometimes you'll just go straight through and like listen to one whole concert.
Yeah. So I'll start, like, say I want to listen to Ghost Rosemont, and I'll just start with the first song and then listen to it all the way through.
And that's true, I guess. You can't listen to Ghost Green Bay because you get like
Correct.
4 songs from Green Bay.
Yeah.
I guess it was more, but and that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Right? To like look at Ghost the first time we saw him. The second time, we actually added like 6 songs. That's a lot more songs than you would expect to add to a set list. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Cool. Good.
Going on to the next category. Done gushing over all that fast shit. Top new bands we found this year. I can start with this one if you want.
Okay.
My top new bands this year. Bloodywood. So glad we found them. So glad we went to go see them. It was awesome. Whitechapel.
Yeah.
Whitechapel's on my list. I fucking love that.
Yay.
So awesome.
That's the best.
Spirit Box. Spirit Box was a lot of fun seeing them.
Yep.
Like we said, that was the Green Bay show. It didn't sound necessarily the best, but it was a lot of fun. They had a great energy, great vibe. I enjoyed that a lot. Helvetia.
Oh yeah.
Was one I found earlier this year. It's like a Celtic tribal death metal folk band, right? So it's such a weird, awesome sound they have, and I fucking love it. I don't know if I found them this year or late last year or middle of last year, whenever the fuck I found them. I'm tacking it on to I found them this year. And they're an old ass band too. They've been around for fucking ever. So happy I finally got around to finding them. Chemists is another band. We saw them the same night we saw Whitechapel.
Yep.
Well, we also saw them earlier for like the last 2 songs at the Mastodon show.
That's correct. Yes.
And I remember liking them there, but not being like, oh my God, this is awesome. Seeing their set completely from start to finish that night with Whitechapel, and it was Trivium, right? Whitechapel, Trivium.
Yeah. And
Sleep Token. I think it was Sleep Token.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it Sleep Token? Or was Sleep Token with...
I think Sleep Token was with...
In This Moment.
In This Moment.
Oh, Between the Buried and Me.
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Sleep Token was with... like a week later with In This Moment at the same venue. But yeah, Chemists. I loved Chemists. They put on a great show. They're from Denver. We were going to see that Denver metal. Unfortunately, they weren't there. Maybe at future Decibel shows they'll be there. They definitely fit in well, I think, with that show. I liked Chemists a lot. And they mentioned during the show they go to Reggie's a lot. So hopefully we can see them next year at Reggie's.
Hopefully.
The last band that's my favorite new band, Baroness. I know you're so excited for that. I fucking loved Baroness. They were so fucking good. I can't wait to drag you to another show.
I might go. Maybe you could take like Jim or somebody.
So fucking good. I Baroness is so awesome. Good progressive music, like metal. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I like Baroness. What are that's my 6. I'm assuming you have very little overlap to me on that.
No, there's some.
Is there?
Yeah. The first one. Oh my god, I just love them. Wait for.
Oh, bleh.
I was making fun of how you said Baroness.
Baroness is awesome. You should check him out.
I did.
You should actually check him out and like give a shit about it. It's awesome. It's good music. Anywho,
I also had Whitechapel on my list. I was so happy that you did because I didn't think that that'd be something you'd be into.
yeah, it was weird. I know when we first saw them, I wasn't expecting what we got. For some reason, when I think Whitechapel, I'm just thinking like weddings, and I assumed it was like a female lead because for some reason I associate weddings or Whitechapel with weddings and weddings with women. Like that's how my connection goes. It's like, oh, it has to be a female lead.
Why would I listen to a female lead band?
That's true. You hate women.
I think I only listened to like 2.
But it wasn't, and it was like death metal.
Yeah.
And the live performance we saw, I didn't get like, I only got like the deep death metal-y growls. But then when I listened to the albums, there's so much complexity, so much highs and lows in the vocals. It was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then I went back and revisited my memory and was like, oh wait, no, maybe that's what I did here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see them live again. It's gonna.
I want to see them too.
I thought it was so good.
I do too. And then I had A Killer's Confession. They were great.
Oh yeah, they were.
I mean, they were with Bloodywood, so I didn't. Oh, I do have Bloodywood on my list, but yeah, I don't know. Like just seeing them, and so when we got there for the bar, before they went on stage and stuff, I honestly was like, oh, this is going to be some high school garage band. Like, oh, it's going to suck, blah, 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 blah. And then when they went on, I was so elated. Like, they were so good.
Such a great performance. So much energy. And, it was really, really good. I agree.
Yeah. I have Sleep Token on my list. Yeah. But then I have a question mark, or like a little, like, is it really?
Did you really like them?
So I really liked their set, and I liked their music. I think it would be a good like relaxation, maybe like the doom yoga that we were doing.
Yeah.
Like I really, really liked their music. At the night of the show, which was in this moment.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. But the question mark behind it is I've only listened to it like once since that show.
I have listened to them a few times. I do super enjoy their music as well.
Yeah.
The vocalist behind it, it has this weird, eerie kind of sound to it. I agree. Like I like that a lot too.
Yeah. I put the question mark because I'm like, are they really one of my favorite top bands? But then I'm like, I think they are. It's just
you haven't gone back.
I haven't really went back to it. I also have Bloodywood. Like I mean, people can listen to it in our Bloodywood episode, but you played them for me once. I cannot even remember that time. Then you played them for me in the car, and that's when you're like, hey, they have a show coming to Chicago. And I was like, yeah, get tickets. That's fine.
I think that was the same time. The first time.
No, you said so in that episode when we recorded for Bloodywood, you said that you played them once for me in your on your computer, like in your office.
Oh yeah, I see.
And I was just like, I can't even remember that. So.
I think we had like a Cubs game, and you just got home from work, so you just weren't in the mood to do shit.
Yeah,
so
I think so. Yeah. So yeah, so you had played them a few times. Like I really didn't listen to them before going to the concert that often. But man. Like seeing them in concert, seeing them in that little bar venue, Beat Kitchen, like I don't know, like, and now that when I listen to their music, either on YouTube or most of the time, if I listen to them, it's on YouTube because I like to watch their videos have good messages and stuff. But now watching them after seeing them in concert, it's like so good, so good. I can't wait to see them again. And the other one I had on my list was Nothing More.
Oh yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
More was really good.
Yeah, they were really good. But this is another one where I listened to them for a few weeks after the concert, but I have not went back in the last couple months.
Nothing More is a band that I listened to not a lot, but I listened to them in that era where I wasn't listening to metal that often. So I think I found out about them in like the 2016 to 2019 time frame. Whenever the fuck I was listening to like Pandora music.
Oh,
Like,
right.
They
Yeah.
came up on my shuffle there. And they had quite a few songs that I really, really enjoyed. And completely forgot about them. And then we saw them live. And it's like, holy wait, what? I know this song.
Mhm.
This is them? Like, it clicked. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is Nothing More.
Yeah.
That's right. I know the album cover. This is what Nothing More is.
Yeah. Man, you saying that like just made me go straight to Light the Torch. Like they're not on my list.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's another one where like I had heard the song on Spotify, but like it didn't click to me until like they started singing it, and then I'm like, it's the same exact thing. Like, oh my gosh, that's who this is. Like, I know who this is, sort of thing.
And this kind of goes to what we talk about with loving to go to shows early and seeing openers. Bloodywood and Helvetia are the only two on my top new bands that are not on there that we saw live as openers.
That we had not heard of before.
That we had not heard of before.
Yeah.
And like even Bloodywood I only heard of because they're coming. Go check it out. It's still a new band. And you might view them as openers because a lot of people probably saw them as on the festival circuit.
That's true. Yeah.
When they did a few shows here, right? They did the Kentucky one. What's that?
Louder Than Life.
Louder Than Life.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, they would be an opener. So we saw them as a headlining act, but Helvetia we didn't see this year. We're going to see them next year. But all of these other bands are openers that we only found out about because they're openers, and they left such a huge impact as openers. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the same thing. Like when you were talking about that, like all of mine are openers except for Bloodywood, and all of these. As soon as I heard them, I was like, I like them. There's other ones that we heard throughout the year that I'm like, yeah, like I can like this. We could put it on the playlist, sort of thing. And maybe it's grown on me a little bit. Like Carcass is one that it's fine. Like whatever. But all of these, like as soon as they went on, it was really good.
So, quick question for you, I guess. I'm thinking of Spirit Box for me.
Yeah.
I loved their set. I loved their performance. I loved their sound when they were on stage.
Yeah.
We listened to it a few times on Spotify afterwards. I'm not as big on them just listening to them on Spotify. It goes back to that. The live performance is what drew me in and kept me hooked. Are there any of the bands on your list that are like that? Like if you did not see them live and only heard their music, that they would still be on this list?
Yeah. Probably the only one would be Sleep Token.
Okay.
I think I probably would have just been like,
It's an okay thing to listen to.
I probably wouldn't even go to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to be honest. I don't know.
But seeing them, I don't know.
But seeing them, that's so different because then it's like now you see the energy, you see the like just if they have a show or whatever. Like
Sleep Token definitely had a show aspect to it.
Yeah.
Interesting to me to think about that dynamic of just seeing an act and then listening to the music versus listening to the music and then seeing the act.
Yeah.
And it makes me now think about not necessarily bands that I've written off, but bands I'm like, I'm not a big fan of their music on Spotify,
now maybe
but they're live.
You need to go see them
But
live.
now I think I kind of want to go see them live just to like, oh, all right, this is what it's like here.
Yeah.
So there's that crowd mob mentality, I guess, at a concert, right? Like I really enjoy that crowd feel, that crowd energy. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's just something to think about, I guess. I don't know.
So the next subject
Yes. What's the next
is
one?
things we've missed out on this year in 2020. And I think you explained like this is either we had a scheduling conflict or resources we couldn't make the travel work or whatever the case is.
Yeah, and I guess maybe a good potential example of this, I don't know if it's on your list, it's not on mine. We saw Rammstein here at Soldiers Field and fucking loved the
Yeah.
show. It was on both of our lists, right? They had more shows to play.
Yeah.
We could have, given all the resources in the world, bought secondary tickets to the Fear Zone or even just seats, plane tickets, hotel tickets to go see them in LA. They put on like 4 fucking shows in LA.
2 shows. Mexico City, I think, had 4.
Mexico, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like there was a lot there. There was potential for us to see them again if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things, like, we missed out on this. We wish we could have. It's not necessarily saying it's something we definitely could have done.
Yeah.
But it's, if we had all the money in the world, this is what we would have done. So that's sort of what the whole, as you were saying, the concept is.
Wait, so sorry. Did you say that it is if we had all the resources in the world, we would have done this?
It could be both. It could be both.
Oh, okay.
So
Mine aren't that way.
mine aren't either. I'm just saying, like, that's the category they could fall into.
If we can't afford it or we can't do it, I guess I didn't add it on here. These are all things that we could have done, but we couldn't do. Does that make sense?
Mine are 2. There's one. I think mine are 2. There's one I think that falls into that we didn't have the resources.
Okay.
Aspect.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
I mean, maybe you can justify it a little
yeah,
bit.
I'll
It's
talk
not
about
like, oh, we were going to fly to
yeah.
7 different cities to see them every single night.
Yeah, fair.
It's not one of those.
Sure. So we'll cut everything out I just said. We'll keep out what you had, and we'll go with your explanation. Yours is the
We'll
best.
see. I don't know. I get lazy when I get this far into editing.
So start us off with this one.
Okay. So the first one, this is in no order. These are just as I remember them. So the first one is Slaughter to Prevail. This was the night. So this was like November 2nd here in Chicago. And I found out, well, I knew some of Slaughter to Prevail. You're making really weird faces.
I don't remember this show.
We didn't go to this show.
I know we don't remember. I know we didn't go to this show, but I kind of don't remember talking about it. But I also kind of do.
Yeah, so
it's
we
weird.
Talked about it quite a few times, and it was one of these shows where I was like, I really want to buy tickets. I'm not going to buy tickets. I really want to buy tickets. We shouldn't buy tickets. Like that sort of thing.
Oh, was this because we were going on a cruise?
Yes.
And
yeah.
you didn't want to get COVID before going on a cruise?
Yeah, so at the time that this was announced that you still had to do the whole testing before going. And I was like, okay, so for 2 weeks before, we're not doing anything. And this was one of those, or this was the show this fell in that. I don't know. I really wanted to see their concert.
Yeah.
And then we missed out on it. So, the next one I had on the list was Shiprocked 2022. We had found out about this in 2020 I found out about it. I don't know if that was the first year or not. Probably not. It's probably been going on forever. But in 2021, they like had tickets up until almost sailing. Like people weren't going on cruises.
Oh, because of COVID, probably.
Yeah. So, and then we knew about 2022, but I think they sold out really quick. And also it was like, can we really spend this much money to go on a cruise? We had the cruise that we went on booked. So then it was like, can we really afford to do both? Blah, blah, blah.
So I remember signing up for the early access to the 2022.
Yeah.
And we got it and we saw the prices. And we were super close to buying. But then it became the question of, we already have a cruise that we've purchased or have started to pay for.
Yeah.
For 2022.
Yeah.
Do we really want to do another cruise early on? And it's a lot of money. Do we want to do that? I think my concern was definitely the money. Could we afford both cruises? And I know you're not the biggest fan of being dizzy and motion sickness, potentially. So I wasn't sure how you would act on a cruise, or I didn't think you would acclimate well to a cruise. So that was another reason I was like, I was super hesitant because of that reason. We ended up going on our cruise. You did fine. You enjoyed it. Um, but I still think the money aspect there
Yeah.
is
I think it was money and vacation for me.
definitely vacation for
Like,
you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was also doing a trip with my mom and aunt to Disney World. So, like, it was just a lot of money to spend
Right.
all year long.
We had that trip to Disney, and we had the Disney actual cruise, what
Yeah.
we went on. So having those two expensive trips on either side of the year
Yep.
kind of did tie up a lot of our resources.
Yeah. And I don't get that much vacation from work. So it's like,
Right.
I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. But
Yeah.
so we missed, long story short, we did not go on Shipwrecked, but we wanted to.
Yeah. Just jumping ahead, this is also on my list. Shipwrecked is. I don't remember the lineup for this year, but I don't think it was nearly as good as 2021.
Oh, no. 2021 is really
I know
good.
2021 had Avatar on it, which would have been fucking phenomenal
Yeah.
to see. And I think I remember when that was going on, they went to like Mexico or something as one of their ports.
Yeah.
And I don't know who in the band of Avatar did like a live stream. They went to like a zoo or something. And this person, whoever the band member was, is a big bird watcher, big fan of birds. And they were doing, if I remember correctly, I think I saw it on the subreddit. And he went there and he was so fucking excited to see all these birds. And he's like on Instagram live talking about the birds, like describing them. Like he knew like his bird knowledge, like bird law. He is like the lawyer. He's like in the Supreme Court of bird law.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That was this 2022 tour, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
They just did. Maybe.
I think they did both years.
Oh, maybe it was 2022 that they were on.
No, they might not have been able to come back for 2021.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever
I can't
year
remember.
we missed, which would have been 2022. It would have been that show then, or
Yeah.
that tour.
Because it was Lamb of God, I Prevail, 68, Avatar, Aaron Jones.
Yes, that was 2022.
Yeah.
So that's the one we missed that we thought about going on. That's what it was. It was we missed that one, and we thought about doing it for 2023.
Way Tour was there.
But then seeing,
I could have found out about Way Tour in January.
you could have.
I could have had 5 more months.
But then seeing the lineup for 2023, that's I think
Yeah,
that's what
2023 we didn't buy it. Yeah,
We
I think you're getting the whole story right.
we didn't have the money to get 2023, or we were unsure if we wanted to buy into. That's what it was. We were unsure if we wanted to buy into 2023 before going on this cruise, plus having the resources to pay for both cruises.
Yes.
Um,
Long story short, we didn't go.
we didn't go, and we missed out on it, and we both wish we would have gone.
So I put Louder Than Life on there. That's in September in Kentucky. I can't remember why we didn't go though. Maybe again, kind of resources wise, like it'd be a lot to have hotel, and even if we drove.
I don't know why we didn't go to Louder Than Life. We were going to go in 2020
Yep.
because Metallica did the 2 shows.
Yep.
That got canceled. We decided not to renew for the following year because I was unsure who the headliner was going to be. Even Metallica's like, we're not sure we're going to
Yeah.
do this. Turns out they did do it,
Yeah.
so that sucked. But that then was the same weekend as Line Fest, which hindsight, Kentucky would have been so much better. So I don't know why we didn't do it this year. I think we opted for Upheaval as our summer festival.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
And we're like, we're gonna give this a shot because also Disturbed was gonna be there. But was Disturbed at
No.
Kentucky this year?
No.
So
I don't know. Yeah, I honestly can't really remember why we decided not to, but that was the weekend though that we ended up going to Ghost and Lamb of God, so we had concerts that weekend. We just didn't go to, because remember Mastodon was in Kentucky.
Right, yeah, that's yep.
Stupid fire trucks. And then I didn't get to 6 on this list. My last one is Disturbed at the Iowa State Fair. I'm glad I
yeah.
didn't go now, but
It was like rained and shit.
it
right?
rained and it was just a mud pit and it would have been horrible. But we had a friend's wedding this weekend. It was the weekend of August 20th, I think. August 10th, August 20th. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we definitely had a wedding that weekend, and they played Friday night.
They played Friday night. The wedding was all day Saturday because it's like an Indian wedding.
And
the day before.
The week before, like the few days before, we were in Denver.
Oh, right. I went back to Iowa the weekend before.
To the fair.
Then we went to Denver, and then it would have been the very next Friday after we landed, like on Thursday.
We would have flown in from Denver to Iowa, saw the show, and then gone to the wedding.
Yeah. I remember I was really trying to make this work too. I was like looking at overnight flights. I was looking at everything. I was like trying to figure out like, is there a way to just not even get a hotel room and just go straight to the airport? I don't know. I was looking at everything. But we didn't go. But then hindsight, the night or the day of, it rained all day long. And then they almost canceled it. Was it Chevelle? No, Chevelle was with them. And they canceled Chevelle, so it was only Disturbed.
Oh, because of the rain, they didn't have time.
They didn't have time because at the fair, I think you had to be done by like 10 something, a noise or ordinance thing. So, I mean, the Iowa State Fair is like in the middle of a neighborhood, but for noise or ordinance, you have to be done by 10 something. It's very early, so like the concert will start at like 7, and then they're done by like 10, and there's only 2 bands, or a little after 10 or something. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways.
So that's 5 total for you. You don't have a 6th?
That's 4.
Oh,
Slaughter
that's
to
4.
Prevail, Shiprocked, Louder Than Life, and Disturbed.
Okay.
I didn't have 5 or 6. I couldn't, but you'll probably think of things that I didn't think of. So.
I think so, and we'll get to that. I think I've got one for sure that you're gonna be like, oh shit, that's on my list.
Oh, what was it?
We'll get to it. It's gonna be toward the end. So, let's start with this one. So, Shiprocked was on it for me. We talked about that. I put a good festival. We went to Upheaval.
Yeah.
Did not enjoy the festival.
So that could have been Louder Than Life.
Could have been. We missed a good summer festival.
Yeah.
We didn't go to, and this is also kind of asterisks, right? Like, we did the Decibel Metal and Music Festival. It was a festival.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
It's not the same as a summer festival where you're outside doing that kind of shit. I missed that summer festival, a good summer festival. So let me actually add that. A good summer festival. I put that on there. So same thing with Louder Than Life. That's why I'm like, same thing. We'll call that. This next one possibly could have covered this item and that summer festival.
Okay.
A 9 Inch Nails show. We didn't see a 9 Inch Nails show.
We could have went to Riot Fest though.
And they did standalone shows this year. Nothing in Chicago outside of Riot Fest. But we could have traveled potentially for a show if we could have made, everything work, or wanted to hard enough, made other things not work. I've seen 9 Inch Nails live. It's a fucking phenomenal show. You haven't.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know if I want to see them at Riot Fest or at a festival. Like, I want to, right? But seeing them in a club, seeing them at a venue, they do so much amazing shit with just lighting, and it's such a great, great fucking show. Trent Reznor's fucking phenomenal. I can't wait till you get to see him. I know that was something you had mentioned potentially wanting to see.
Yeah. So
that's one that maybe could go on your list, maybe not. I don't know.
No, probably not.
Probably not. But I'm disappointed that we did miss that. This next one, see, this one falls into the other 3 I have. So, Metallica, All Within My Hands. That's coming up soon, very, very soon.
I mean, it'll be over before we post this.
It will be over before we post this, yeah. But I know when tickets went on sale, I think there was a brief window when I could have bought tickets for it. Got a travel package to go to LA with like the hotel and all of that stuff. It wasn't bad. It was like $1,600. You got your hotel room, you got your concert, you got a poster and some shit like that, right?
And 2 tickets, right?
And 2 tickets, I believe, yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. I mean, we'd have to pay for flight on top of it, but
right. So that's, I think, where the conversation went to, of like, we can do this if we absolutely want to, but it means we have to give other things up. Yeah. And we just got back from Denver. We had a few other shows going on, and it's one of those things like, do we want to be that busy this at the end of the year?
Yeah.
We did it last year for the 40th, and it was great to see that, but it also ate away at the holiday season, and we both talked about last year. We didn't feel like we had a holiday season. It was go 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 go,
Yeah.
and then the holidays were here and they were over, and it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, it did not feel like anything, right?
Yeah.
So we opted more for that than seeing this show. Resources and just mental capacity, right?
Yeah.
So that's one I wish we would have seen. And this is with the Slash, like All Through My Hands / the tribute show in Florida
Oh yeah.
at the Hollywood,
Yep.
whatever casino.
We were
right?
there. Well, we were in Florida.
We were not at this location. We could have made it possible.
Yeah, I think it was like a 2-hour drive from where we were.
But that's one of those things. And this is where the other two, so I have that as one, All Through My Hands and tribute show. It just logistically didn't work out for us because of the cruise and all of that. Also, that one I felt like was harder to get tickets, or would have been a lot harder to get tickets to than All Through My Hands. But seeing the set list they played, they produce live recordings of every show they do, and seeing that set list, phenomenal. So much old school shit that you don't hear live, and because it was a tribute to the people who got them up, the record label that brought them up. So it would have been awesome to hear some of that stuff live. The next two follow that same vein. And this is sort of weird because if we did one, we couldn't have done the other.
Okay.
Because it's like same day, same weekend. And we couldn't have done both of these because we were on the cruise. First one, the Dresden Dolls at Woodstock, New York. I love the Dresden Dolls. They're fucking awesome. They disappeared forever. They broke up. They're getting back together. They put on a couple of shows in Woodstock. Very small, very intimate shows. Once again, one of those things we could have bought tickets to, but we were on the cruise. I had them in the cart, and I'm like, before I buy these, let's double check to make sure. Fuck, we're going to be on a cruise. We can't go to this. I was upset that we didn't get to do that, but whatever. We did what we did. This is one of the things we missed out on that I wish we could have made work.
Can I guess your other one?
It's going to be the one I think you want, and it's going to be the same reason because of the cruise. What is it?
Ginger.
Yes, Ginger in Chicago.
I forgot about that.
The Ukrainian band can leave the country because of fucking Russia, finally, and they came to Chicago and put on a show at the House of Blues, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And we didn't get to see them.
Nope.
So...
Yeah, I forgot about that until you were saying the whole Dresden Dolls thing, and I'm like, oh, shit.
So that was my last one that I wish we could have made that work. So, I mean, that's my 6.5, 7 that we missed out on this year. And I think it brought you up to 5 or 4?
5.
5 you missed out this year.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot. We've done our thoughts on new songs, new albums, our Spotify review, our top shows this year, top bands this year, and then things we missed out on this year. Now to kind of close it out a little, well, not I guess close it out, but the next thing to talk about is our all-time favorites. So this is since we've seen a concert, which was 2005.
Yeah, thereabouts, yeah.
To 2022. What are our favorite concerts, venues, and worst favorite, I guess.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense. But anyways. So the thing that I wanted to come out of this year after year is how they change. Like if they change at all. That's true. So this is, we'll save all these, and this is 2022 year end. So this is as of December 2022, these are our favorite all-time things, or our worst favorite for 6 of them.
And so just to kind of give it away a little bit, you can start this next one with venues and locations, but there's 2 new venues that we went to for the first time on this year on my top 6.
Mine too.
Only 2, but still, there's 2 new ones this year that are on that list.
So next year, depending on where we go, it might change.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing a few. We've already got a few new venues that we haven't been to yet on that list.
Yeah.
So lead us off. What are your favorite venues of all time?
So I personally wrote mine out in order.
Okay.
Because I want to look over time, like how they move in order.
Oh, so your thought is you're gonna actually rank these, and your ranking will change.
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
not do that, but I like that idea. So maybe next year I'll do that,
Yeah.
or maybe I can rearrange mine for next year at that.
Yeah.
So are you going to start then at the bottom and work your way up, or work at one and work your
Oh,
way
I was
down?
gonna do one down.
That's fine. Do whatever you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
So all time right now, my favorite venue is Mission Ballroom, and I want to go back there so bad. It's in Colorado. So 3 Days Grace and Wage War here, and this is the concert that we already talked about earlier in this podcast, but where I googled something to do and we found this venue and this concert.
Things to do in Denver tonight, and this
Yep.
popped up.
Yep. So, and it's a newer venue, but it is amazing. Like I said earlier, next time we go to Denver, I hope to see a show there again. The next one for me also is a new one this year, and it's the Radius, which is a new venue here in Chicago, and it's would that be Chinatown area?
I think it's Pilsen. Is
Pilsen,
the proper neighborhood.
Okay, so between Chinatown and Pilsen.
But like the neighborhoods in Chicago are 1 block apart.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you walk through Chinatown, you're in Pilsen. Like
Yeah. So pretty close to us or where we are right now. So it's a nice. I mean, it's new venue, very nice. Everything sounded amazing that we saw there. I like the stage is high. It's a great venue. The next one on my list we have not been to forever, but it's Valair, and that's in Des Moines. And I think I more chose not necessarily for the venue because honestly I can't remember the venue at all, and they're redoing it, but to me it's the memories of going to our first concerts there because that was the venue that we went to a lot. The next one on my list is House of Blues here in Chicago. Love the venue. Every time we go, we always talk about how much we love it. Center of Chicago, right on the river. It's really nice. The next one is the Vic, which I've only seen 2 concerts there ever.
Yeah.
But I had 2 different experiences. So the second concert we saw was Behemoth, and I wore new shoes, so my feet hurt within 5 minutes of being there. So we went upstairs and sat in the balcony and watched the concert from up there. That was an amazing experience to see a concert from up there. Would I rather be down on the floor? Yes, but it was still really cool to be up there. The first show that we saw there, I don't know why I did these backwards, but I guess I feel like this one's more memorable, was Disturbed. When their album Evolution was released, they did a release party here in Chicago, and we were lucky enough to Brian getting in there and getting tickets right away because they sold out really fast. So that was really, really cool. Really intimate venue there as well. And this one I was really surprised is on the list because you mentioned this earlier that you hated this venue, but Argonne Ballroom is now on the list.
Really?
Yes. The more we went, the better it's gotten. I like the huge circle for the floor and then how there's walkways on the sides. I like that the stage is also high, like the Radius. So until we saw Jack White, I would say any concert that we saw there, I could see this stage. But Jack White was we talked about it. The crowd was just crazy. A lot of people crazy, not moving crazy. But yeah, the more we went to Argonne, the more I like it. The more I look around downstairs, I don't know. I like it. But any of those on your list?
So the only one that's not on my list is Aragon.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything else is on your list?
Everything else is on my list.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Aragon, I love the architecture, the old architecture. There's so much aesthetics to it. I don't know, it's so awesome. You walk through that first area where you're going through the metal detectors, and you have the ticketing booth right there in that little foyer area. Go up the staircase, and the little tiles on the staircase are really cool. Just all the nuances and little things to it, I love. I've just had so many bad experiences getting in and out of that venue that distracts me from the show I saw or the show I'm about to see. I don't know, it hurts me so bad. And I agree. It's gotten a lot better. The last two shows we've seen there have been phenomenal experiences, and I hope they continue to be. The other thing I always bitch about is the prices of alcohol seem extremely high for what you get type thing. But then again, it's the world we live in and all of that. So I don't know if I can complain that much, but it's not on my list. It's not on my list. I was shocked you put the Vic on your list.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I love the Vic so much. The Vic is my favorite, one of my favorite places ever. The first time I went to the Vic was to go see 10 Cloverfield Lane as a movie. Paid $5 to see this movie. It was like a new release movie. $5, got a beer for $5, and you just go up to the balcony, and you have the stage, and it's just like a white bed sheet that's dropped, is what it seems like, and that's what they're projecting the movie onto. It has such this run down sort of feel to the whole experience, like a dive bar as a movie theater type thing. And it was just so much fun. And then we saw the Disturbed Evolution tour, and that show, it was so intimate, as you said. It was so unique that it was Disturbed coming home to Chicago and playing, we're gonna debut the album for you, back home. That was a blast. I loved that. And then Behemoth. That's the only other show I've seen there as well. And it was so much fun. And then we, like you said, we went up to the balcony and watched from up there. And it wasn't as good as being on the floor, agreed. But it wasn't horrible. It was a good vibe. You could see the stage perfectly well. I don't know. I love the Vic so much. It's such a cool theater. I want to see more shit there. The Radius and the Mission Ballroom. Those are the two new venues this year that are on this list now. Both of them have just amazing vibes when you walk in. They feel so good. Like, these are clearly venues designed for this day and age of music goers and concert goers, right? I think we talked about this with A Day to Remember in Wage War in the Chicago Theater, that was designed in the 1920s for the purpose it had. Times have changed, needs have changed, and these newer venues that are popping up are designed for the particular needs of live music, of concerts, and they sound amazing, they look amazing, they have all the amenities you need, and easy to get to. Like, I love both of these venues so much. House of Blues kind of falls into the lines of the Vic, but upscale. It's the ornateness of all the designs. I love being on the floor and looking up and seeing on like all four, like the pillars on the side, Atlas holding up the earth, and then that's holding up the ceiling. Like, that aesthetic of like Atlas is holding up this venue, or the ceiling for this venue that you get to see live music. And then all like the different religious symbols above the stage. I know they do like soulful Sundays there as well. So it's like, I don't know if it's like a non-denominational religious service or some shit. But the House of Blues is so much fun. It's intimate. It sounds good. We've seen a lot of really good shows there. It just has so much good vibe. Bel-Air also on my list. And I think for the same reasons it's on yours. I don't remember seeing, I remember seeing shows there. I don't remember much about Bel-Air.
Yeah.
I remember seeing so many good shows there. Black Label Society, Disturbed, Stone Sour.
Killswitch Engage. Oh, where they were.
Killswitch was there with
Stone Sour.
Stone Sour. No, Disturbed.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and others, Lacuna Coil. I don't know. El Nino, I think, was there. We talked about that.
Yeah, with Disturbed. Yeah.
So that was like the key venue for us growing up at our first concerts.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before, of just our first concerts left such an impact on the music, not only the music we enjoy, but the way we like to consume music, which is live music. So like, that venue's always going to have a special spot in my heart.
Yeah.
they are remodeling it, like you said. I think you told me that, and that's kind of disappointing to me a little bit because I don't want it to change, but I don't remember it also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be funny if we walk in now and just be like, oh, this is not what we thought, even if they didn't remodel it, but just.
But I don't know. Maybe that then becomes redesigned, like the Mission Ballroom or the Radius, right?
Yeah.
Like it's now redesigned to fit the needs of the current generation.
Yeah.
Which would be fucking awesome. I think you should do that from time to time. I guess you can't have necessarily this historic Chicago theater always be the thing and always suit the purpose it needs. Chicago theater did what it needed to do for that show of A Day to Remember and Wage War.
Yeah.
But like I said during that podcast, I don't think you can have Lamb of God's not going to come in there and put on like.
Could you imagine? That'd be so funny.
It's not going to be good. Everybody in seats. There's no pit. There's like no. It's not going to fit those needs. No. So because of that reason, the Vic's on my list, which leaves one other one.
No, the Valera.
Yeah, Valera is on my list. Which leaves one last one for me.
Yeah, what was the difference?
Can you just guess?
Soldier Field?
Close. Wrigley Field.
Oh, Wrigley, yeah.
No,
I didn't enjoy it.
I'll
tell you why.
I'm a big time baseball and Cubs fan in particular. So it's one of the reasons we moved to Chicago, in all honesty.
So, I thought it was because you got a job.
We wanted to move to Chicago, and we had to find a job then to move to Chicago.
Yes.
But my whole life, always been a baseball fan, always been a Cubs fan. So being able to be on the field and just look up at the stands, look up at the ivy, like just stand on the field so many players have stood on and see like the views they have seen, even though it's not 100% the same, right? There's something about that just, to me, it's like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. I don't love you only get a seat. They do have a small pit section.
Yeah. That was my dislike, is I don't like that they fill the field with seats instead of just having it all be general admission.
Yep, agreed. Agreed with that. 100% agree with that. But Dead and Company always play there. And going there with a friend, Jim, who's a big Deadhead, we don't sit in the seats we have. We find a spot that's comfortable for us, and we'll just wander around. And several other people do that too. And that's the way to do it with that field. And he even was telling me stories once of the fans just took it upon themselves to unzip tie the chairs, fold them up, and neatly pile them in the corner.
Neatly pile them.
And be like, no, it's fine. Like, we're not going to make a mess. Like, we're going to be polite. We're not going to destroy your property. We're just not going to sit in these seats.
Yeah.
We need room to move. And so someone like pulled out a knife and like started cutting all of them, and like,
I doubt if it was a knife.
It could have been like early 90s or mid 90s, right?
Yeah, that's true. But now, no.
9/11.
Yeah.
So like that then just speaks to like who those fans are as a people, of just like, we'll respect you, but we're also going to have fun, and we're not going to damage your shit, but you also need to respect us and allow us to enjoy this the way we want to enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I do hate that, but I do like just the nostalgia and like the feeling of being on the field is, to me, awesome. I love that.
I think it would be better if they didn't have the seats.
I think so.
I really didn't enjoy that.
If it's a band that we care a lot about that's there, we're probably getting pit tickets, right? So then we're not going to have to worry about those seats.
That's true.
But I get that complaint. I 100% agree with that complaint. I hate that too. It is very frustrating. But those are my 6. Very shocked we had 5 out of the 6 the same.
Yeah. I mean, kind of for the same reasons for most of it. So the next 2 are all-time worst shows and then all-time best shows.
Yeah, let's start with the worst shows. Let's get the worst out of the way first.
Yeah.
Why don't you lead us off? I know forewarning, and I think you're in the same boat. We left 6 slots to fill.
Yeah.
We've been to bad shows this year. Upheaval for me is one of those bad shows this year. But looking back on it, it wasn't necessarily that bad. I don't know if it's on your list, but whatever. We'll get to that. But I don't have all 6 of these slots.
I don't have them all filled either.
And the point there being, just because we had a bad experience at one show, doesn't necessarily make it a worst show.
Yeah.
So I guess theoretically, out of all the shows, if you gave them rankings, there would be 6 worst. But to me, there's not 6 that are at the caliber to be classified as worst.
Yeah. And I only have 4.
Same. I have 4 as well.
So, this will be interesting to see if they're the same.
I bet a lot of them are this, all but maybe 2. So I guess half, 50-50.
50-50.
That's my prediction. I have 2. You have 2 that are the same. Why don't you lead us off? What are your worst shows?
Okay, so number 1 all-time worst show ever.
Oh, hold on. This is also ranked, right? You have this as number 1 is number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Linefest, Iowa. And it's not because of the bands, because the bands were fucking awesome. We're going to do a whole podcast on it's called Knotfest, Iowa. We call it Linefest, Iowa. But we're going to do a whole podcast on that, so we don't need to go into it now. But it was a very, very, very poorly ran, someone made a bad decision summer festival. Late summer festival. Comments?
Continue. We'll have comments after.
Okay. My number 2 worst festival was, or not festival, but concert. And it was this year. And it was Upheaval.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, it sucked. I don't think I'll ever go back the more I think about it.
All right. I already said I'll save my comments. Let's go ahead and continue. I'll save my comments later.
Should I say why it's horrible?
If you want to, yeah.
That goddamn hill. It doesn't matter that we're not fit. It doesn't matter that we ended up getting COVID that weekend. I'm sorry. I am not we missed out so many bands because of how the gates opened and then that fucking hill. Anyways. The next one on my list, I just realized these are all festivals. That might be a bad thing. Is Open Air 2019. We went in 2016-17. They didn't do it in 18. And then 2019 was just shit. But, so that year it rained for all day. They canceled the first, I don't even know how many bands. And then the lineup wasn't all that great. They didn't have a second stage. They didn't have festival grounds. It just sucked. The next one is not the entire festival, but the KISS concert at the 2017, or the KISS headlining show at the 2017 Open Air. Why the fuck were they there? It was horrible. We left early. It was just bad. That was my 4.
All right, I was wrong. I only had 1. Linefest is, even though I didn't put them in an order, looking at this, these are in order for me. These 4.
Yeah.
Linefest was by far, hands down, the absolute worst concert we've ever been to.
That could have been fucking amazing.
Up there, could have easily been up there at number 1 best show ever.
100%. I even said, I was like, I hope they do this every single year before we went in.
And I did the same thing you did, because you mentioned KISS at Open Air 2017. All-time worst shows can be classified in a weird way, right? You have overall concert was just the absolute worst fucking concert ever. Or an individual performance was the worst performance ever.
Yeah.
Linefest is an example of the worst overall concert, but all of the performances, from what we've heard, since we didn't see any of them, well, very few of them, were the greatest shows those bands ever put on.
Yeah.
Which is one of the frustrating reasons, the reason we hated it, right, is because you missed so much.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
And
we heard it, but didn't see it.
Right. And because we were in fucking line. And as you said, we're going to do an entire podcast about
Yeah.
this shit show, a goddamn festival.
Yeah.
So that's definitely number one for me. Your number two, Upheaval. I brought that up as an example
Yeah.
at the
Is
beginning.
it on your list?
It's not. No.
Oh. Why is it not on your list?
I did not enjoy it as well. I thought there were logistic issues with the festival as a whole. That hill you brought up, your second stage being on the hill, I agree. That could have been, you could have rearranged the grounds potentially to make that a little more convenient to see the second stage.
Yeah.
We missed a lot because of that. The opening of the, festivals are doing this and it pisses me off. Gates open the same time the first band plays is a fucking joke of a thing to do. I fucking hate that, and I think it's the dumbest high school move ever. It's fucking, seriously, it's some shithead's high school kid doing a high school fucking stupid ass project. You just let them run with it. You know, it'd be really cool, Dad, is if the gates opened and the band was playing and the gates opened and the fans walked in to see a band play. Like, no, it's not cool. That's fucking stupid. Let people in half an hour before the gate, whatever. I hate that. But
Yeah, why is it not on your list though?
so that's annoying. The fucking lawn chairs are also annoying as well, right?
Yeah, this is a lot of bad things. Why is it not on your list? That's all I care about right now.
But the overall bands they had played were great. The hill sucked. It was a great spot just to sit and enjoy the music, which is what we spent a lot of our time doing, mainly because of COVID. The food vendors, the portal potties, the VIP package sucked, but we chose to pay for that. We didn't have to pay for the VIP package. We didn't get what we wanted. So, I mean,
You're not putting this on the list because they had good porta potties.
yeah, that's one of the reasons. It's not bad. All I'm saying is, I guess I have a pretty high bar for worse. And even though all these little things added up to being this was a shitty experience, it's also stuff that this is a reoccurring festival. They can learn from these things and improve upon it. Some of these shows I have on mine are I guess it's the same thing. You can still all my negatives. I don't know.
All right, what's your next one?
Yeah, for me, Upheaval wasn't necessarily, it didn't meet that bar as absolute worst.
Okay.
If I had to pick a fifth, sure, you're twisting my arm right now, and the more I talk about it, the more I'm painting myself in the corner there. This festival's there. But if they change a few things, I would go back again. Then you had Open Air 2019. I did also think that was a bit of a cash grab.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's the first time we saw that VIP is the people who get the front of the line. Everybody else gets, that section of the floor.
Yeah.
And that section was not sold out.
No. God, no.
And the fact that it rained half the day, and they're
and then they cancel the bands.
we can't play because of rain. So, yeah, you're going to miss half the bands. That was fucking annoying. So, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm putting Open Air 2019 on there as well. I thought the lineup was great.
What did you have then for your next one?
All right. My next one, which I'm surprised you didn't have.
Maybe I didn't even think about it. What was it?
Our very first In This Moment show.
Oh, fuck. I forgot.
That was so god-awful.
Yeah, we had 5 minutes of absolute silence.
In between songs.
In between songs.
And it was miserable. And maybe there were technical difficulties behind the stage going on, but it was after every single song. All right, song's over. Stage goes black. Audience goes black. All the lights go dim. No music, no nothing. Wait 5 minutes. Now you get the intro song and do your next song. And it was after every goddamn show.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So that's number 2 for me. And like I said, these are in order. Well, they were until I added Open Air 2019 because that was pretty fucking pissy.
Yeah, it was just a bad experience.
You mentioned Kiss 2017.
Yeah.
I get why Kiss is on that stage. I thought their performance was horrible. I think they're old as fuck and probably shouldn't be playing anymore. But at the same time, I did enjoy it a little bit. A little bit of me, that nostalgia of I got to see Kiss once in my life. I'm good. It did let me know, like, if they're headlining a festival again, we don't have to stay for the whole thing. We'll listen like 3 songs
Yeah.
and then we're out.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I don't think that's, to me, that's not worse. You've convinced me of Open Air 2019. Upheaval, I'm on the fence still. My next show, though, that was on my list was from this year, The Interpreters.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too.
And it wasn't because of the music. It wasn't because of the venue, even though it was at Aragon. It was the backlighting. I could not watch their performance because all it was light, and they were just drowned out by the light behind the stage, and it was blinding me. And I have in the past got migraines from like staring at lights and like a loud or just like a flash of light, right? So I was starting to get a headache, and I was like, I can't watch this shit. I just can't. And we ended up going downstairs to like where the bathrooms and the bar area, or a bar, because there's like 40 of them, area are, and just hung out down there until they got done, and then finally went back up.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
That was so fucking miserable, and it was so self-induced. Like, we're gonna be artistic and do silhouettes, like it's, and that was the first time we saw that. I fucking hated it. And that's why when Wage War does stuff like that,
oh, that you don't
I'm
like
like,
the backlighting.
this is fucking stupid. Don't do this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so annoying. I hate that so much.
So do you have one more then?
I do have one more.
Okay.
And I'm upset this is on the list, honestly. So there's bad overall concerts, bad overall performances. This one doesn't fit either one of those criteria. It's just bad me. I have Mastodon at the rave this year.
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited to see Mastodon. We saw the last couple songs of Chemist. They were also there with Opeth. I wanted to see Opeth so bad. This concert had everything that was going to be so fucking good about it. Didn't know Chemist, but hey, it's an open list, learn new music, and turns out they're one of my favorite bands this year. The problem is, this is a band I was like, I know they're progressive metal. I know we can just kind of kick back and relax and enjoy the music. This would be a good band to eat some edibles for and enjoy the music. I've been to Dead & Company, taking edibles and whatnot there, and it hasn't affected me, but I don't know. I ate one, and I was not feeling good during this concert, and I was not enjoying it. So I put Mastodon self-induced because of weed. Like,
Yeah, it was our fault that we didn't enjoy it.
I did not enjoy this because I was not acting well, or I was not reacting well to the edibles I took. And we ended up leaving after like the first song of Opeth, and I was so pissed at myself because I was so excited for that concert.
Yeah.
It could have been and should have been so fucking good, and probably was, but we just it fucked me over. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, we learned.
So my final one now is Open Air 2019 because you convinced me. So I still have one slot open. I'm not putting Upheaval on there.
Okay.
I'm still not putting it up there, but I have one open slot, and yeah, that's my list.
Okay. So the next one is same concept, just all-time best shows.
Yeah, all-time best shows. Looking at it, I don't have any shows from this year on there. I don't know if you do, but we'll get to that, I guess. And once again, mine are not ordered.
Okay.
If they are, mine's very close to being an actual order, but it can jostle around a little bit.
Okay.
But my all-time favorite show, or one of my all-time favorite shows, is my very first Slipknot show and very first GA show. Left such a huge impact on the way I like to consume music, and so many, like all three bands, Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, Slipknot were the bands, and oh my god, it was such an amazing concert. I loved it. Up there for me. Then I get to S&M 2. I mentioned this earlier. I listened to a lot of classical music. Then Metallica, through Nothing Else Mattered, got me into metal music. Was my gateway, and the fact that they did like an S&M and melded those two together, I loved. And then when they did S&M 2, and we were able to go to that second show and see that, it was such an emotional ride for me. It meant so much, and hands down one of my favorite shows. Could be my favorite show, but then you have that Slipknot.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I can't put these in an order.
Yeah.
The next for me in the list, Metallica 40th, Night 1.
Okay.
If I was combining both of them as a set, like I said earlier, they do like you go up and then back down through the catalog. I could see that being listed as one concert. But if I had to pick of the two one concerts, the first night to me was so much better than the first. Or the first night was so much better than the second. But I could see an argument for adding both. Next for me, which we'll do an episode on this as well. Chicago Open Air 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was my re-entry back into live music and my re-entry back into metal. And you have Disturbed, Slipknot, Rammstein as your headliners. And it was our first festival. Oh my God, it was so fucking awesome. It was such a great fucking show. And here in Chicago, like, we didn't have to travel. Like,
yeah, it was really great.
Oh, it was so fucking good. Next, I actually replaced the show that would have been on the list for this year, which was the bar shows. Bloodywood and Thrash of the Titans, right? Just getting that, like, oh my God, bar shows are fucking awesome. Let's do that. This one replaced it, and that was the Disturbed Evolution release party show. It was just so intimate. It was it was really cool to see that there were no openers. I think it was our first show where we saw a band with no openers.
Yeah.
They were your favorite band at the time. Like, I know, just your excitement to see them and do all that. Like, it was awesome. It was such a great time. And it was at the Vic, one of our favorite venues, apparently. Both of us. The last one was from 2019. And it was my very first Dead & Company show. Friend took me to it. It's an experience. Dead & Company, it's so much fun to experience that and to live that. I fucking love that so much. It was such a blast, and I enjoy Dead & Company shows so much now because of those experiences, and just it is so much fun. But that's my six best shows of all time.
That was 6?
That was 6. I know, goes by quick.
Wait, Slipknot,
S&M 2,
Open Air, Disturbed, bar show. Oh yeah, 6.
Dead & Company, and then you mentioned, yeah.
I completed counting up here.
Gotcha. How about you? What were your best shows? I bet there's a couple that overlap, but not many.
So 3 overlap, and I only have 3.
Oh shit! Only 3 best shows.
Yeah. What do you think the 3 best shows are?
It's gonna be S&M 2, Metallica 40th, and Open Air.
Nope.
Open Air, S&M, and Chicago. All right, I said that already. Disturbed.
Yep. Yeah. So mine are in order. S&M 2. Amazing. We were able to do that. And remembering you at that concert just made me so happy. And it's a great memory. And Metallica's fucking awesome also. So then I have Open Air 2016. Similar to you, first festival. This is getting back into music. I remember we were both so excited that weekend. When I was so excited the day that I found out that it was Disturbed, Rammstein, and Slipknot headlining. And those are 3 bands that we, even between 2009 and 2016 when we didn't see a concert, like those are 3 bands that we would still play the music for. Like we never gave up on them. And then Disturbed at the Vic that was just such a memorable show. It was so cool to see them there. Yeah, I don't know. I really wish that they would do another release, or they would have done a release party here again this year for Divisive. But
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
yeah, I don't know. Those are my 3.
Interesting. Okay.
I could add the Bloodywood or the bar show thing in there as well, but
I honestly thought Wage War, the acoustic set, would be up there for you.
oh really?
I did. Yeah.
I don't think that would be my favorite overall show. I guess I could have just said that performance of the show, but not the overall show. No.
Interesting. Okay.
If they headlined, that would have been cool.
If they did their own, yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, there's room to go. Maybe next year we'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, I
or
hope so.
At least one. I don't know.
I hope so.
Speaking of next year, that leads us to our next one. It's what we don't know about but want for next year.
Yeah. What we hope we may get.
Exactly. So as we said earlier, it hasn't been announced, but we hope that it's going to be announced, or something will be announced.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start, or do you want me to start with this one?
I can start.
Okay.
I mean, you're probably familiar with everything that's on here, but I hope that there's a Disturbed tour. I hope that there's an Avatars tour.
Is there not a Disturbed tour?
Not announced yet.
Avatar's been announced, right?
No, Avatar's not announced.
Oh, shit.
Nothing. Neither one's announced.
Okay.
As of December.
As of the recording of this, which was what,
14th.
December 14th. So yeah.
December 14th. So both of those. I want a Wage War tour where they're headlining. I know it's going to happen next year.
Just a matter of time, right?
Next year. I'm pretty sure this is happening, but it's not been announced yet. But a Raven Black tour, or her on tour with somebody. I don't know. I hope. And then I'm so anxious to see the lineup for Rockfest, because we did buy tickets to go. So that's our festival next year. Because as of right now, we don't know the lineup.
So that might fall into the next one of what we know for next year, or what we know about.
It kind of falls into both, yeah. But I'm excited for.
Okay, that's fair.
The lineup.
I only had one that you had.
Oh,
which
okay.
is kind of shocking, and I don't think you're going to guess what one it is. But it is a Raven Black show.
Really?
I am excited for that.
That I was not going to say that one. But
I really like their performance. Like, the first time we saw them, and it was right after that In This Moment show, and I was like, oh, fuck, there's a female lead. She's not going to like this. She's going to think there's too many costume changes. And she doesn't do costume changes, but she had a box of props.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, Karen's going to think there's too many, like, dead silent spaces in here and whatnot. And when she got off stage the first time, you turned to me, I was like, yep, here it comes. She's going to fucking hate this shit. God damn it. It wasn't bad. It was really good. And the thing you said is like, she's got a loud voice for a little girl. Or a big voice. She's got a big voice for a little girl.
Yeah.
And it just made me smile. I was like, you liked it. And,
Oh my gosh, I love Raven Black.
And we had seen them like one other time.
Yeah. At House of Blues again.
And it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
God damn, they put on a good show.
Yeah. I had the song stuck, all the songs stuck in my head.
And they were supposed to be with Static X in 2020. But obviously that got canceled. And now Static X is touring again. And they're part of the tour, I think, right? But not the part we're going to see.
They were this year so Static X has been delayed so much. I think originally we got our money back, and then we bought tickets again because they were going to be here. Are these the same tickets?
We kept this one, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it's going on since 2020 to 2023.
Same with Rammstein. We kept a few shows from 2020 that got postponed, and this was one of them. Rammstein was the other.
Yeah.
We cashed in on...
Green Day.
No, Green Day we kept.
Oh, we kept Green Day too, yeah.
We cashed in on Kentucky, Louder Than Life.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then Metallica ended up playing, but we didn't know. And we were like, well, we don't know if they're going to be playing. Let's not spend all that money on that.
But anywho, I'm excited to see Raven Black. I hope they come back again. I know they're working on an album. I think it's like the White Album or something.
Raven's Diary, I think it's called, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. So I know they're working on new music, so I'm excited to see them live. They're not a band I listen to very often on Spotify. If we're in a car and I want something different, I know Karen will enjoy this, I'll put Raven Black on. But yeah, I'm excited for them.
I love Raven Black.
I then have a Slipknot show.
Oh,
I just
okay.
fucking love Slipknot, and I want to see them live. They put on an amazing live show. I hope they come back. I know they're in Europe a lot, and I think they were just announced at a festival here in the States. So I hope I get to see a Slipknot show next year. I'll come back to that one. A Corey Taylor show along those same lines.
This Corey Taylor?
He released his solo album, right, a little bit ago, and he did a small little tour for it, but he didn't come to Chicago. And I want him to come to Chicago. I want him to come to like Chicago proper. Either play the House of Blues or the Radius or the Salt Mines or whatever the fuck they're called, the Morton Salt Factory.
Yeah.
There's so many venues here I think that he would do well in and sell out.
Right now there's like no rock or metal bands at the Shed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that
When I was in
sucks.
Lakeview, I saw an ad and it's all like bands that I don't know the names.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope that changes.
But yeah, Corey Taylor, I love that album. It's such a weird fucking album too that I want to see it live. An Amon Amarth show.
You just saw one.
I know, but I love them
I
so
know, you
much.
wanna
They're
see
so
another one?
fucking good.
No, it's all good.
I don't have it on here, and I thought I did. So I'm gonna add a 7th. We'll get to that. Fuck it, we'll add it right now. A 7th. Along the lines of Corey Taylor, I didn't learn about Tech9 because of Corey Taylor. I found out about his music on my own, but then found out that Corey Taylor and him are like collaborated together. They're friends and whatnot. I really want to see a Tech9 show. It's a hip hop show. We've never been to a hip hop show, rap show, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We're gonna get that all fucked up. Sorry, folks. We missed Tech9 at Linefest because we were, guess what, in a goddamn fucking line. So I want to go to a proper Tech9 show. I fucking love his music. It's so much fun. I think it'd be a blast. A show at Red Rocks.
Oh yeah.
I think a Red Rocks show would be awesome, but we've mentioned this a couple times, right? Where you have to find the right show.
Yeah.
You can't just go to any show.
Yeah. I actually thought about Red Rocks too, and I almost put it on my list, but I was reading this for next year, and I just, with everything else that we already have planned, I don't know if we can
Make it work.
make a trip to Denver to see a show at Red Rocks work.
I guess, yeah, I haven't looked that far into it. As like, what have we planned? What haven't we planned? What can we afford? What can't we afford? Type thing.
Yeah.
If we can make the money work, like that'd be awesome to go. Another one I don't have on. See, there's so much I want to do. I don't have.
Just quickly go through 'em.
I don't have Metallica the Giants. I don't have the Metallica Day at the Giants. That would be on my list. But once again, I left that off because I don't think we make that work. But so Red Rocks could possibly be knocked off, and that's where the Tech9 show slips in, right? The last one I have, and I mentioned this as something we missed out on this year, along with their show at Woodstock. They're also doing a show on New Year's Eve in LA, I think. The Dresden Dolls are. But apparently my sister's getting married, and I can't fucking skip that to go see a concert. So I could have, but I'm going to choose my sister's wedding over a goddamn concert. There'll be more.
That's limited edition.
It is.
They might renew their vows or,
Someday,
something.
Yeah. But they also announced a actual tour coming out and new music. And this kind of goes into your Avatar and Disturbed stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's highly speculative, but it hasn't been.
It has
fully
been announced, yeah.
I'm hoping they have new shit next year. All I know is they're working on it, and knowing bands, that could take a year, 2 years or more
Yeah.
to finally come to us.
Yeah. Like they could be working on it now, but we don't see it for 2 years. From
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do that. I'm hoping for new music and a show. And we've only seen them once at the Englart. It'd be awesome to go back to Iowa City and see them
Yeah.
again there.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's another band that's kind of good in like a theater type setting.
but yeah, that's my list of what I'm hoping for next year that we don't know anything about.
Cool.
The flip side of that is the things we are excited for next year that we do know about. And it's late in the year, but there's quite a bit of things we do know about for next year.
Yeah.
Why don't you lead us off? What are the things you already started to, right? With
Rockfest.
Rockfest, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
We every year the last couple of years anyways, since we went to 2016 open air, we've tried to do a festival. We really enjoy them. You get to hear so many bands, so much new music that we found so many of the bands that we listened to today at open air, like Marth, Avatar. 2 bands that we listened to. Ghost.
Fever 333.
Fever 333.
I just listed off one. The point is, right, that
there's so many bands that we listen to now that we saw at a festival.
right.
So.
And we've talked about with our top bands for this year and most of them being openers. Festivals are like the king of openers.
Yeah.
Everybody but one band is an opener.
Yeah.
From that, if you look at it from that point, like that lens.
Yeah.
So that's the king of openers. If you're looking for new music, festivals are the way. There's arguments for not liking festivals. I get that, but at the same time, just bombard me with music, bombard me with new things. Let's experience this and go from there.
Yeah. So yeah, Rockfest is on the list. The next is kind of like a festival thing, but we were fortunate enough to get chosen, or however that worked, to by the Headbangers Boat, which is being sponsored by Lamb of God, in November of next year. I don't remember how that was. Did we had to sign up for a list or something to get it?
It was sign up for not pre-boarding, but like put me on the wait list for buying tickets. And I think it was whenever you put your name in the list, you were then basically in a queue.
Yeah, so you got like an hour to buy tickets.
Exactly. And then the next grouping went, and the next and the next and the next. So we put it under like one of our emails and under another one. And the first one was like 2 hours before the second email. So we ended up buying tickets under that slot. But yeah, it sold out super fucking quick.
Yeah. Like I think the first week it was like,
I think within like 24 hours it sold out.
Yeah, so when it went to general public sale, it was 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we bought on Monday and then general public bought on Friday, but it sold out by the end of the day on on that Friday. So yeah, we actually booked that cruise when we were on our last cruise. So good thing I don't get too sick on cruises so that we could do another one. So I'm super excited for that. I hope you're excited for it. I like the cruise process, and having concerts the whole time will be fun too. The next one on my list is Metallica in Detroit. Just because I know you love Metallica. It's going to be over a year since we've seen them, because we saw them at Lala. And then that one's in
August, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be, over a year. They have a new album coming out. It'll be cool to hear some new stuff. Then my next two, I don't actually have 6 on here, but
okay.
The next 2 that I had was Avatar's album comes out in November or in
February.
In February, so I'm excited for that. And then I know that there's a Raven Black album coming out. She's announced that, just not a date yet. So those 2 are on there. I'm sure there's way more. I mean, Metallica's coming out with an album. There's so many. I mean, I could name all of them, but so I didn't put Metallica on there, but that could be my 6th one.
So I had these listed as like 2 things, and then I kind of combined them. So I have Avatar music and show
Okay.
on mine as like one, because otherwise it's going to be Avatar Music and Show as 2.
But we don't have Avatar tickets yet.
Metallica Music and Show. I mean, we don't have tickets yet, but we're gonna get tickets probably.
Okay.
I don't see us not getting
If they
tickets.
announce something, they haven't announced yet.
They hinted at it
They did,
real soon. So
Yeah. And I got excited. Like they just gave us a date of when they're coming to Chicago.
right. Did they?
No, but I got excited like
I
they
see what
did.
you're saying. I see. So Avatar Music and Show I have on there. They hinted at it. A new album's coming out. They're going to tour. They're coming to the States. So
Yeah.
yeah. Lamb of God Boat. I also have that on there. I'm super fucking excited for that. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
There's so much other shit to do on the cruise. It sounds like the poker tournament sounds fucking amazing. I'm excited for
You're
that.
gonna do that?
I've started watching like poker videos, and we haven't played in forever.
Oh, we haven't played.
And
Yeah.
I kind of want to like, let's go to the casino. There's buses and shit. Let's go to the poker room to find poker tournaments and just like hone up on the skills that we used to have.
Yeah. Low budget rooms or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Low
That'd be
buy-in.
fun. Also, Metallica show and music. We have tickets for a show and the new music coming out, so that's fucking awesome. Dark Lord Days. We don't have tickets for that yet, but we get early. We're gonna get pre-sale or some shit like that. I can't remember what we got for buying Dark Lord this last year, and it came up with that came up during the Beer and Metal Festival podcast. Either that will be coming out here in the near future, but I love Dark Lord. The fact they put on a metal festival, I'm super excited. The first time we'll ever be able to go to an actual Dark Lord music festival with Dark Lord Days, like, oh, I'm so excited for that. I'm pumped. I'm so happy. Then I have Dead and Company, their final tour or final show in Chicago. Apparently this is their last tour. Got tickets to both nights at Wrigley again, one of my favorite venues as we talked about. I'm excited to see that. It's going to be a blast. It's so much fun. I'm happy for that. And the final one, and I don't know if I need to put a caveat next to this or what, but Thrash of the Titans show. I want to see them again. It was so much fun, but I kind of want to go back to Gabe's and see him again at Gabe's. I kind of want to see him come to Chicago and do a show somewhere in Chicago. They said they went to when we were there last time, they were at a casino, and that was a great show. They said they had a lot of fun doing that. I'd love to see them at a casino. I'd love to go to Des Moines and see them at like Woolies or wherever the fuck they played, like a small club in Des Moines. Talking to all the members of the band, they're all like, "What's your favorite show?" Woolies or Des Moines was their favorite show because it's a hometown show. So I had so much fun during that. It was so much fun. I want to see them again. I want to hang out with Jerry and the crew again, like Jerry, Darla, the crew, everyone. Like it's so much fun seeing all of them. Seeing them like in concert, like, oh, I really want to see that. But I don't know where I want to see them, either that or like all the places, right? Like it's hard to choose.
They haven't announced anything yet, but once they do, we'll
They
pick
haven't, no.
We'll pick a city.
And that's true. They haven't announced, but we know they're gonna do shit because they said last year, like, we're I think when we saw them, they had one show in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then it was we're taking the winter off, but we're gonna start booking shit.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before like they announce, and then, all right, when are we going back to Iowa City? When are we going to Des Moines?
Yeah. Pretty much when are we going to Iowa?
We're gonna go see family. We're gonna go to Iowa City because we like and then we can see family also. But really, we're gonna go see that family and then this family. Like I don't know. It's
our band family.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So that basically wraps up what we had listed for what we're gonna do. During this podcast, though, I came up with an idea that we can probably do really quickly, and it's the 2023 predictions. And we have two things. We have Spotify and concert predictions. So the thought is, do you have any predictions right now around your Spotify, what you think your top bands will be in Spotify? And same with concerts. Looking at what we have ahead of time for next year. We can go over that real quickly. We have 8 shows plus 2 Dead and Company. or one Dead and Company. So like 9 shows, right, for next year already booked. Oh, 10. I don't have Rockfest on here. So we have 10 possible shows next year. Which of these do you think are going to be your highlights? So let's go over that. Let's start with Spotify. What do you have any predictions for your Spotify? Do you think it's going to be vastly different than this year?
I would say unless I find a brand new band next year that I'm like in love with, probably not. I think as of right now, I think it'll stay about the same.
A lot of Wage War, you think?
Yeah, probably. And Lamb of God.
For me, I think Metallica will still be my number one.
Yeah.
Especially with the new album coming out. I think I'm going to dive heavily into prog and nu metal as well.
You think so?
You
enjoyed that this year?
Loved prog metal so much. Between the Buried and Me, Baroness, like those two bands in and of themselves were, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I love this shit. And then you also have Mastodon. You can call that a bit proggy, I would say. I love that shit so much. That's probably becoming my biggest genre or subgenre of metal right now. Followed behind doom metal. Chemist was fucking awesome seeing that. And then going to that Decibel Beer and Metal Festival, the first night there were 2 or 3 that started out with 2 or 3 doom metal bands. And I fucking loved that. It was so fucking good. What was it? In the Company of Serpents, right? It was another one of those doom metal bands that was just so fucking awesome. And then going to this doom yoga, learning that, like, I don't know. I think I'm really enjoying this progressive and doom metal subgenre concert. So quickly going over that, what we have listed so far. We have the Anthrax 40th anniversary show with Black Label Society and Exodus. After that, we have We Come as Romans. Don't know anything about them. It's just a completely new experience. We're gonna check it out. Static X, that show from 2020, fine. Hopefully,
maybe we'll see it.
That one looks fucking weird because we have 4 openers for that one show. Then we have Pop Evil, Disturbed, Spirit Box, Metallica, Dead and Company, their final show, and Rockfest so far planned out for next year. And Helvetia.
Yeah,
Helvetia is on there. It's not on the list, but yeah. Of those listed out, I think I'm going to really enjoy, obviously, Metallica. Dead and Company is going to be fucking awesome. And other than that, I think those are the 2 main ones of those that I'm like the most excited for. The Rockfest, I know
I'm iffy, especially after going to Upheaval last year.
I'm kind of super worried about it, but also kind of super excited.
Yeah. I feel the same. I think we got a little burnt with the last 2 festivals since we did Knotfest Iowa and then Upheaval. So need to give them another chance. So
I mean, the same thing with Rockfest, right? Is they allow lawn chairs. So that's kind of frustrating. Yeah. Looking at the main stage, it's like Tinley Park, it almost looks like, which we hate fucking Tinley Park.
Yeah.
And they're selling one-off pit passes by the band, which at first was super frustrating, but then we saw that, no, they actually had all-day-long pit passes that sold out. Like a lot of things, it's fucking completely sold out, except for like very few things here and there. So, yeah, I'm a little hesitant on that, but I don't know. I'm hopefully optimistic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm excited for Metallica. I'm excited to see Disturbed again. I don't know. The other ones am I missing something?
Whatever you think, yeah. I mean,
you said Dead and Company, but I'm not going to there. So, yeah, I'm excited for the concerts next year. Hopefully we have a lot more. I'm really excited for Lamb of God. You don't have that on your list.
Oh, shit. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lamb of God, the boat.
The boat. Yeah. The Headbangers boat.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that.
Man, your list is just...
that I think that is going to be like my number one show next year.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I think that'll be my number one too, and then probably followed by Metallica and Disturbed, and I don't know. So much hasn't been announced yet, though, so we're not sure what we're gonna do. I think my dream would be for Avatar to come with Wage War opening and Raven Black. So just putting that out there in the universe in case somebody wants to pick it up.
Yeah, so I don't know if we do this again next year. Maybe we'll start with revisiting this of what we thought, and then see how closely aligned. But I mean that's the year of 2022 in review for us.
Yep.
So
such an amazing year.
So this was the year. This year by far was the year we saw the most concerts in a single year.
Yeah.
Like we had never seen this many shows, and it kind of stemmed from 2022, right? Of
2020.
Sorry, yeah, 2020. Of we can't see shit, and now that we can see stuff, it's like let's go.
I think it's this year really. I mean, we're not like the people that are like, oh, you got to live the most out of your life or whatever. But I think 2020 did teach us like, hey, you saw 0 shows for 18 months, and so now we're like, don't want to miss one, and then we turn that into a hobby as well of talking about it afterwards because we love concerts so much or live music so much.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, this year was amazing for us. Hopefully it was for you as well. There's a lot of great things in the works, for 2023 and beyond, really. So,
go see live music.
Yeah, go out there, enjoy 2023. Hopefully you had a great 2022, but, the machine keeps moving. There's going to be great things out there in the future.
See you next year, everybody.
See ya.